And I'm as guilty as anyone doing this, and I actually text his coach, Den Thomas, and apologize for this. I think all of us, the majority of fight fans, fell victim to forgetting how damn good Woodley is because of his recent matchups in Damian Maia, the way he had to fight Damian Maia, in his fights with Wonderboy Thompson. Even though the first Wonderboy Thompson at UFC 205, he won Fight of the Night and got a bonus. Because of those stylistic matchups, we have fallen into the UFC narrative, the Dana White narrative, that Woodley is a boring, not a great fighter. And we've all felt, including myself, and I'm disappointed myself falling into this kind of trance that Woodley's not one of the greatest, if not the greatest welterweight of all time, and that he's not an exciting fighter.
What up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. We are a podcast that lets you know the MMA podcast you should catch, skip, and can't miss each week, as well as we try and take a look at a new show. This is going to be a weird one for us. I'm Pulver, and I'm here with my co-host, who is currently out in New York, Chris Madaffer. What up, dude?
Yeah, it's weird in the sense of my recording setup. Generally, one should have Wi-Fi, but unfortunately,
you would think New York would have some Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi here in my roommate's place is kind of all fucked up. So I'm recording this. Excuse me. I'm communicating over the phone on Google Hangouts, and I'm recording regularly but offline on Audacity. So we'll see how this goes. So if there's any background noise, it's because there's an AC that's not on, but it's like running. Hopefully you can bear with it.
That or the background noise is the punk bitch dog in the other room that won't stop barking. Shouts to Macaroni. But yeah, anyway, man, we will go ahead and jump into format. But we should get to our Doug Stanhope. No, wait. I always do that. Popov Vodka presents Doug Stanhope presents our sponsors, which are totally real and not made up at all. Are you drinking anything today? I mean, it is noon where you're at?
What's pretty funny is I'm on an empty stomach, but I do have some more beers in the fridge, and it was this 12-pack I bought, and I've literally been the only one who's drank any of them. I think I've already drank about 6 total.
Nice. What was it?
So, Brooklyn Brewing.
Nice. Like Brooklyn's bomb.
Yeah. So I'll probably grab one for the next segment when I'm feeling like I want to have a diet of just beer today. So.
There you go. I am drinking Modern Times Black House coffee stout, which is real good. Yeah, I figured that was a good choice for first thing in the morning, since it's 9:30 on the West Coast right now in the morning when I'm recording this.
9:45 something like that.
Yeah, so it is. It's definitely an early one, so we'll see how this goes. But why don't we go ahead and jump right into format? It's been a weird week for MMA podcasts. I feel like there wasn't a lot, and then towards the end of the week there started to be a handful. I feel like we saw a lot of the same guests also on a lot of shows.
Yeah, and the way I went about, I tried to listen to as many as I could. You know, if you're in New York, you want to see stuff. I was mostly taking pictures, so I was mainly trying my best to listen to podcasts when I was on the subway. Even when, cell phone service would go in and out. Luckily, it would still play the track since I make sure it buffer. So I was definitely able to, especially when I went to Coney Island yesterday, and that's already like an hour subway ride. I was able to listen to almost like full episodes of podcasts.
Nice, yeah, that's exactly what podcasts are for, right?
So yeah, if you're one who lives on the East Coast and you're in New York or using the subway, you probably can get through a bunch of podcasts in a day. So.
Sweet, man. Well, why don't you start us off with the show you recommend people catch this week?
So the first one I think people should catch this week is the episode from Heavy Hands.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I liked it because they kind of just got right into the thick of everything as far as the main event is concerned. Phil and Connor both talked about how, let's just say right off the bat, Till was clearly outmatched and actually landed 0 significant strikes. And it was kind of crazy when I thought of that because I had watched the fight. I was kind of at a little like house party, little mini housewarming thing, so I didn't really have the volume on. I was just kind of watching it without audio, but yeah, right. I could tell too. I didn't realize until they said it. I was like, yeah, he didn't really land anything at all.
I think he landed 2 punches the entire fight, neither of which was significant. I think he threw like 7.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell if it's because I think he was more cautious of just the level change from Woodley, just taking to the ground more so than, but then again, his overhand right.
I was going to say, the power.
There's a lot to worry about, especially if you don't have the best takedown defense. And granted, I thought Till was doing okay as far as defending that inside trip, but then again, he was just using his size to its advantage too, and he was kind of naturally backing up against the fence.
Yeah, 100%.
I know Connor and Phil compared this fight to Rashad versus Machida, I think it was, that they brought up.
Yeah, which was an interesting comparison for sure.
They mentioned Till made the mistake of bringing the fight to Woodley when he should have been more patient with the jab and setting up the left hand. I remember that's what Phil kept preaching about 2 weeks ago when they were or a week and a half ago when they were previewing the fight.
Yep.
He said that's how Till's going to be able to bomb on Woodley. He's just setting up his left hand with the jab. They gave credit to Till. He has a hell of a chin, and yes, he does. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Taking those hellbows.
Yeah, he ate a ton of ground and pound.
Yeah, dude has a chin, and it just shows I think he'd be fine at 185. I think he could take some bombs.
I think he'd be better off, yeah.
He'd actually probably be just stronger in general, and probably actually generate even more power.
For sure.
I mean,
Connor had a hilarious take on the beginning of that episode also. I believe he said Valentina would have cursed 228, so it's good that she dropped off of it, because that way it was a pretty good card. Because he is real down on Valentina.
Wait, is he as far as just what?
He thinks she's just super overrated and doesn't do a whole lot.
I'll disagree a little bit. I don't want to say she's overrated, but
I'll say that.
She's slightly. I think slightly. You know what I mean? She's definitely not one. I think where I understand why she was the popular pick in the heavy favorite.
Well, it's because of the Cachoeira fight, where they gave her some girl who
just gave her
never fought anyone with a name.
Yeah, they gave her a can of Campbell's.
Exactly.
So I mean, that was just an expected outcome. That's all I'll say on that. Either way, I'm excited for whatever's next for that division. What is it going to be? Is it going to be Valentina versus Joanna? I don't know.
It sure as fuck sounds like it, man.
I'm not against that. That sounds like it could be a banger.
Yeah, I guess. I would like to see the 25 division be the 25 division and Joanna not to get a title shot after going 1-2.
That is true, though.
That's just me.
What did they say? Oh, yeah, they said Woodley's ground game was... Fuck, I can't even read what I wrote. It was just a bunch of gibberish. I guess I was typing fast. His ground game was solid and that it set up nicely for the Darce choke that he's able to finish until.
Yeah, he hit that short arm Darce, too.
Yeah, and let's see. They were talking about Woodley's style going into other fights and how he matches up with other types of fighters, whether it's a grappler or a Muay Thai fighter or a striker, and I think they cited that there can still be inherent issues with this style, noting the Maia fight, so mainly just against other grapplers, specifically Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners.
Yeah, I mean, that's how everyone looks against Maia, though. Fucking Dana said Anderson would never headline a card again after he fought Maia.
Yeah, and Anderson, well, at that time... At his fucking prime, just still made Maia look stupid. Regardless, even though Maia did shoot pretty well.
Yeah, that fight is hilarious though. Looking back on it, he's just fucking with Maia.
Moving on, the co-main event, they praised Jessica Andrade.
Oh, you mean the fucking murder?
The murder co-main event? Yeah.
The goddamn bodying?
I'm glad I had in fantasy. Thank you, my auto-pick strategy. Holy shit.
For real.
I think he gave me 28 points for that dude.
I'm not surprised. She fucking killed a girl.
So that made up for my Darren Till mishap. Granted,
yeah, I think you're second in fantasy.
Yeah. So
Valentina sure didn't help me in fantasy this week.
Oh, fuck. So you got fucked. I feel like that happens to you a lot. I know you'll make up
it does, dude. I also had Joanna and Bisbing last year, or in the last season. I got fucked over some picks.
It only happened to me with Brian Ortega at 226, but other than that... Goddamn, yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, since I lost that, I had to go. I'm 4 fighters deep on this weekend's card.
Oh, damn, so wait, I forgot. So since they didn't fight, that didn't count against your contract, right?
No, but I also just don't. That was my biggest points for this quarter,
Shit.
and she's just not fighting. So
Oh,
I have to make up
man.
a bunch of contract fighters. So I've got 4 fighters on this card. We're talking about Mag War Fantasy League, by the way. If you guys aren't aware, you should get up on it.
Anyways, back to Jessica Andrade. She ropes opponents into her kind of fight. We've heard this term a lot on this podcast and on other podcasts, and those kind of fighters are some of the most dangerous that you can really just square up against. You think you kind of have a plan of attack or a counter attack ready, but sometimes they just kind of are able to just set the trap.
Yep.
You just kind of get, just like a magnet effect, I guess you just kind of get brought into them, and it all goes downhill from there. They talk about what's next for Andrade. It has to be a title fight against Rose.
Yeah, you got to give her the title fight.
They say,
She's killing women.
Yeah, can Rose fight outside enough against Andrade? Rose's clinch game is her weakness right now, and it's not good against. Yeah, it's not good against the most physically strong. Person in it. Yeah, the things Rose has going for her though is her cardio and her slick grappling game. She has nasty subs, especially off of her back, which she's very slick. She's hit multiple flying arm bars, at least one I remember. I think it was even in Invicta, or it might have been I think it was in Invicta she hit that flying arm bar. Super slick. She's wild as hell, and she just sharpened her boxing a ton under Trevor Whitman, who Dwayne Bane Ludwig actually credited as sharpening up his hands so much. So, big shouts to that dude recently from high name people. I mean, yeah, those are 2 of the biggest names as far as just, teachers, professors, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
They talked about the highly touted prospect, Zabit Magomed Sharipov. They said his wrestling and takedown game are great. He keeps his eyes alert while kind of just moving his feet, so he's not just constantly trying to do, one. He can do both simultaneously. He can keep up his footwork as well as keep his head movement going fluidly. They liked the performance from overall. Then Connor went on a tangent. He went off on RMMA on Reddit. He said they were sympathizing with Dana for his hatred of Woodley. And the last note I have is how Tatiana Suarez utterly destroyed Esparza. And I didn't think I picked Suarez mainly because I definitely thought she was going to wrestle the shit out of her. And that did happen. I just didn't think
100%.
it would happen that way. Or that convincingly.
I didn't think it would look like that.
Yeah.
I honestly thought Suarez would get some of her takedown stuff, and in that case, Carla was going to be able to land some decent hands, and Suarez is still pretty green on the feet. But
I just realized
Carla couldn't stop shit.
Suarez cuts to 115.
Yeah, she's real big.
Dude, that'd be a great fight, her and Andrade. Oh my god.
Yeah,
that could be really fun.
She's talked about moving up too.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's
So that'll
something
be
I want to see
interesting.
after Andrade gets a title shot. If Suarez could still make weight, that'd be fun.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Just because of that size disparity too.
Yeah, I'd still like to see her against like a Gedalia or somebody a little. Like, I know Carla beat Gedalia, but still, I'd like to. Well, I guess technically Gedalia won according to the terrible judges, but I'd still like to see her fight somebody a little that like is going to try and throw like big hands at her.
Yeah.
And like Carla, I think is just too fucking small to deal with Suarez. Because Carla's barely a 115er. She could definitely be an atom weight.
That's true. So how about,
cool, man.
How about you? What did you have?
Well, actually, I had one more note on heavy hands because
sorry
they
about
had
that.
one of my favorite clips, which we're actually going to play on the break. It's Connor talking about UFC Moscow and his breakdown of, I believe he called it, it's his breakdown of Hunt versus Alexey Oleinik, which he basically summed up as UFC Moscow, can you choke a cube? Which was, I think it's pretty good. He also mentioned they're combined 85 years old, which is fucking insane.
Yeah. Yep.
So, That was a good episode of Heavy Hands for sure. So for my catch, let's see. I had the MMA Road Show, episode 181, which I actually listened to this morning. Basically, it's John Morgan, and he has Sebastian Martinez guest hosting. And he's actually in Russia right now, in Moscow, for the card. So he talks about the crazy Russian traffic, and they're hanging out. Yeah, they're hanging out drinking unfiltered Russian beer, which they keep saying, like, you can't, when I read what's on the menu, I don't know what it is. I just saw the word unfiltered, so I pointed at that one. Yeah, evidently, I believe he posted also on Instagram a picture of a Moscow Mule, and I believe the line was, they just call it a mule out here.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny.
Yeah, just like in Brazil, they're just called nuts.
Exactly. Oh yeah, that's a great point. Let's see. So they talk about the event being held in Olympic Stadium out in Russia, and that it's getting torn down here pretty shortly. Like by the end of the year, that stadium's getting torn down. But it has around I believe it's actually already like marked for demolition, so it's not very well upkept, is what they said. But it does have a 40,000 person capacity, and evidently it's selling pretty well. Like they haven't opened up the whole thing yet, but evidently sales are not bad.
That's good.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's well, obviously, like we've said before in the past, they wouldn't be able to do really a pay-per-view in Moscow.
And that's actually what I was going to just bring up next, is they talked about this card's on Fight Pass because of the time difference. You can't do a pay-per-view. Or if you do, it has to be something crazy big, and it's going to be at a weird time for someone, so.
Yeah, and you just have too many different it would just be an uneven amount of viewers as far as
right, or people in the building.
Yeah.
So either way, it's not great.
But yeah, that's cool, man, that he's actually there. That's rad.
Yeah, he seems like he's having a good time, too. He talks about polling bartenders about whether or not they root for Khabib. He said a surprising amount of them weren't rooting for Khabib. Some of them were actually even rooting for Conor. Because there's, like, a difference between Russia and all the Caucasus and everything. There's, like, weird relationships and politics between all that.
Oh,
so he was surprised to hear...
It's one of the most political just regions in the world.
Oh, no way. Russia has crazy political divide. That seems crazy to me.
Yeah, I know. Just ask Putin. Ask fucking Ukraine.
Actually, no, don't ask Putin if you want to still be alive.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and don't bother with Georgia either. Yeah,
no.
They're busy.
Yeah,
they're busy making weed legal recreationally, so.
That's right. Speaking of weed, did you hear about your girl, Mara Romero Barella?
No. What, she got popped with the
Mara, yes. However, she got popped by an Italian anti-doping agency, and she is suspended by that Italian anti-doping agency until 2044 for selling coke and weed.
That sounds fun. She was selling fucking coke? Wow.
And weed back in like 2012 or something, and she already had a suspension from them, but then she came over, fought in the UFC and all that, and now they're extending her suspension till 2044. So I don't know, I don't think that actually affects anything, but it'll be interesting to see if you saw it such comment at all.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know how that's gonna work, but yeah, that's a little interesting to kind of keep an eye on that.
Right? And didn't she beat Polyana Marijuana?
I think so. I think she actually.
So maybe,
her.
dude, oh my God, it's all coming together. Polyana Marijuana used to be Polyana Mota on like all the fight sites and everything, like Sherdog and Tapology, but it changed after she lost to the Queen of Weed.
Yep.
Miss Barella. So there you go.
Yeah, it's
pretty
just the
weird.
Passing of the torch, pun intended.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. So they back to MMA Road Show 181. They talk about how Alexey Oleinik says he can't hit an Ezekiel on Mark Hunt because of his fat neck, which is exactly why I picked Mark Hunt on fantasy, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, you can't Ezekiel that dude. He has no fucking neck. It's not gonna happen. Also,
he's like, you think you want to fucking do an Ezekiel me, cunt?
Right. There's a lot of cunts actually flying during this episode because Hunt did an interview with John, and he started ripping on Verdum, who just popped.
Oh, that's right.
Or he didn't pop, but he got charged, or he got suspended
like
for 2 years.
Yeah, he's already like, what, 40-something? Yeah.
I think he's going to be 43 or 44 by the time suspension's up.
Yeah, so good on him.
Yeah. Especially for popping for, I don't know, like Tren or something. Some, like, legit bodybuilding steroid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's real not good. They talk about Nikki Thrill's return, or Nikita Krylov, if you're not up on the co-main event.
Oh yeah, he's coming back. That's right.
Yeah, he fights on this card. Should be cool. They also talk a bit about how there's still no main event for 230. Andrei Arlovsky being super aggro this week during interviews, especially after that one Russian outlet played the clip of him getting knocked out from like 2016 or whatever.
Oh, that's right. I saw something like that online.
So weird. They did mention at one point. Well, so Dave Shaw comes on to talk about the Russian market. They preview the Moscow card, and then they mention that I forget what's his face. Sebastian was interviewing Kazan, and Kazan. That's how he's.
What the fuck is
I think it's Kazan actually is how he's pronouncing it now.
I'm just gonna call him Kazan. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm going to call him Johnson. So Johnson mentioned the labor stuff during the interview, and the UFC stepped in and cut the interview off.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that's fucking crazy. But it's a really interesting episode. It's cool hearing them recording from Russia and getting John's take of what it's like to be on the ground for that event. So pretty interesting, and I highly suggest checking it out.
Cool. Sorry, I was like in the middle of a yawn right when I was about to say cool, and I didn't want it to sound fucking weird.
Hey, it happens. It's early as shit in the day.
Yeah, not for me, but it's fucking.
Well, still, you haven't had any coffee beer.
I haven't had it.
If you were having coffee
I just
beer,
have
you'd
water
be doing
right
better.
now, dude. I haven't even eaten anything, man. This is fun.
You're fucking up.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get a beer for the next segment. Just get something.
Yeah, definitely. Well, speaking of fucking up, who was fucking up this week? I should give the Eugene S. Robinson style disclaimer. Just because we say your show is a skip this week does not mean people should skip your show permanently, or that we hate your show or you necessarily. But it does mean that the show, or at least parts of the show, was not worth the time it took to listen to. So why don't you kick us off with the show you recommend people skip this week?
So I have two. Well, I have one real one. One was by default. Unfortunately, I wanted to listen to the latest episode of Unfiltered, but Phoenix Carnivale was there instead of Matt Serra. So for nowadays when I listen to Unfiltered, it has to be Jimmy and Matt. I just still like their original chemistry.
I agree. Like, some comedian can fill in,
Phoenix
but
is
definitely
fine.
not
Like,
Phoenix.
I usually like her, but this week I wanted to hear both Matt and Jimmy. It was funny considering that I'm in New York. I was like half expecting to see Matt Serra on the subway, considering every time he goes to the studio, he drops by Penn Station, which I was always running through anyway. Especially because I've been to Brooklyn a couple times already, and passing through Brooklyn.
We in the building like.
Oh yeah, I'm in Manhattan. For anyone who didn't know, I'm in.
There you go.
Lower West Manhattan.
Oh, you fancy, huh?
Yeah, I'm right above Hell's Kitchen. So.
Oh shit! Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my skip by default. My actual skip was Loaded Joe's podcast. It was mostly because they were just talking about the huge boxing match that's tomorrow. If you're
Canelo.
If you're living under a rock, it's the rematch, Canelo and Triple G. As we all know, we've mentioned this, and I'll keep this brief. Triple G did win that first fight, but a certain
blind old hag disagrees. I'm sorry, a very nice lady, according to Rogan, disagrees.
I'll go with the stuff I wrote down. They discussed boxing as in Oscar De La Hoya's legacy, and this mostly had to do with like Olympic runs and boxers in the past who've won Olympic gold. They talked about Roy Jones Jr. and how he got jobbed out of a gold medal. Like the judges were blind for him. They talked about Oscar becoming Golden Boy. You know, I don't need to talk about Oscar, but the reason why I wrote this down is because they said, speaking of Mexican fighters who've won gold, Henry Cejudo is the one Mexican fighter who needed HGH when he was young. It's why his head looks like he's fucking Jimmy Neutron, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Wow, Jimmy Neutron's a good reference.
Yeah, I thought that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
So yeah, that was the only notes I had, and I could just tell they just wanted to talk about boxing, which is fine. It's fighting. I'm watching. I'll be honest. I'm watching that fight tomorrow. Fuck yeah, that's gonna be sick.
Hell yeah. It'll be cool, especially since it's not going to be on the same time as the UFC, since the UFC card's on at like fucking 9 in the morning here.
Mad because of the whole steroid thing, tainted meat, whatever you want to fucking call it. Triple G.
It is legit tainted meat.
Yeah.
Because fucking Mexico.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, but it just still doesn't look good, especially to people who want to ignore that.
Well, it's still fucked up this fight happening on Cinco de Mayo, which would have been money like a motherfucker.
Yeah, it would have been. So that was my skip and a half.
Cool, man.
Notes on that.
Well, it actually works out well because I have a half skip as well this week. And that's my only skip, and it's the Big Brown Breakdown, episode 97. And hear me out. This episode was totally great, except for the first 40 minutes where he doesn't mention one fight.
Okay.
It's a 2-hour show. The first 40 minutes, 0 fight talk.
So what was so important that for the first 40 minutes he had to prioritize in front of the fight tomorrow?
Well, he went to New York and he walked out on the play Hamilton. He really liked it. He was just tired.
Wait, he walked out?
Yeah.
Okay.
He not only did he walk out, so he got through the first half. Then he realized, oh shit, there's an intermission and then there's more. I'm really tired and hungry. And then he decided, oh, I'll wait it out. And then he decided, oh, I'm going to leave actually after the intermission ended and this started up again.
So he didn't think to get something to eat at the actual intermission?
No, he stayed after the intermission and then decided to leave.
What an idiot. Dude, get some fucking coffee during intermission. You're at a fucking Broadway show. They have that shit there. They have that so you don't fall asleep. I don't understand. Like, what? Does he need to eat a buffet? Like, is he that tired?
I don't know. I think he didn't like Hamilton, and he doesn't know how to say it on mic.
Dude, that's like one of the highest rated fucking Broadway shows, like, in the past, like, I'm like, come on.
He also wondered whether or not there's a doc about the filmmaking process, like casting and the producing.
I'm sure there will be at some point.
Dude, there's been a million.
Yeah.
How about the one about Boondock Saints, where it does every part of what he wanted?
Yeah.
He talks about trampolines for a while. Talks about looking into old arcade cabinets for a while. It's really just all over the place. He talks about being evidently Postmates in New York sucks super bad.
Wait, what is it?
But evidently Postmates in New York sucks super bad because it just takes fucking forever.
Oh no, I've my buddy Kevin, we've already ordered Postmates already, like just watching football. Or the Monday night, the 2 Monday night games, and yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said it took like 2 hours to get some food.
Yeah,
and he had to pay for the guy to get a cab.
You really, you really just have to honestly limit your the radius that you order. Like if you're in a certain part of Manhattan, you're not gonna order something from Brooklyn. They're just not gonna do it. So I don't know if he was that disturbed. Like, no man, I gotta have from there. Then it's like, okay, dumbass, you're gonna be waiting forever. And it's going to cost you
I'm sure that's what he did.
But clearly someone like him doesn't give a shit. So, yeah.
True. Shouts out to his shoe game. But after that, the rest of the episode was really good, actually. He recapped 228. He's super high on Andrade and Suarez, obviously. And then he talks about how he fell for Dana's anti-hype on Tyron. And, like, all the Till hype. He openly admits, like, yeah, I fucking bought that shit. And I was very wrong. Schaub says that his friend overheard people in the UFC offices saying, I hope that motherfucker loses about Woodley.
Yeah.
He also says the sport won't evolve until Dana is out of it.
Wait,
he's just going fucking hard.
He overheard who's saying that?
He said his friend overheard just people in the UFC offices saying, I hope that motherfucker loses about Woodley.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. The part about Dana just a little bit, but then also it doesn't, considering that it's an acting agency owns the company, so they just want Dana out of there because he threatens their idea of just terrible matchmaking and just shit fights.
For sure.
Freak show fights. So, because if Dana wasn't there, goddamn well they'd make the one fight with that YouTube freak who I'm never going to mention again. So.
It depends. Like, If Mick Maynard gets to pick it, then yeah. If Sean... Wait, which one... one of them is much more discerning than the other. It's the one who frowned when Greg Hardy got the knockout. I believe it's Sean Shelby that's the more discerning of the two matchmakers.
I believe so.
But yeah, it's interesting. But my favorite line he had was he just kept yelling to Chen. It's like, Chen, you think you can't market Tyron Woodley, Chen? You think you can't make this dude into something by just not constantly shitting on him? It was pretty fantastic, and actually a great episode, except for the first 40 minutes, which you should 1000% skip unless you like hearing about Brendan whining, basically.
Yeah, that all checks out when it comes to Brandon Schwab.
Exactly. All right, well, let's get off the biggest brownest, and why don't you get us into your can't miss episode for this week?
So I marked it as a catch, but this is pretty much the can't miss. For me, it was Believe You Me. I liked it because
it was a good one.
Their two guests were Eddie Bravo and Tyron Woodley. I was listening to this mostly when I was on the subway and kind of walking around Coney Island taking pictures, so the notes are kind of all over the place.
Understandably.
What did I write? Oh, they get into flat Earth discussion, and I liked Eddie Bravo's reasoning for it, or his opinion, I should say. Excuse me.
Right.
It was pretty entertaining.
His YouTube regurgitation.
Yeah, something that he probably already had just written down, or just he was looking at when he was talking to them. His little just cliff notes of it. They both discuss him and Lewis about the main event that occurred. They said Woodley's a different type of athlete, and the matchup for Till wasn't good. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously. It sounds a little too subjective. It wasn't a good matchup for Till because he hadn't fought a wrestler before. So there's that. And
and giving Woodley like as the first big wrestler he's fought since fucking what's his face Dalby. Like, yeah, which he went to a draw with. It's like, Jesus, dude.
Till had 0 significant strikes landed, which we've mentioned before. They played that shitty Snoop Dogg Instagram post because Snoop Dogg thought Till was Colby. It's like, that's not surprising considering how high. Pretty much. Yeah, just like beat him for our...
Fuck Trump.
Yeah.
Fuck Donald Trump.
Beat him for our people. And I don't know. That dude is so...
I mean, anyone who watched any of Contender Series, Jesus Christ, I think there's a plane landing on this house. Anybody who watched any of Contender Series knows that motherfucker knows nothing about fighting and just thinks he's funny. So.
Yeah, he's a guy who he'll just stand into any hype too. Like I remember when Habib was beating the shit out of Michael Johnson. He's like, I don't know who this Habib motherfucker is, but I fucks with him or some shit. It's like, throw your money on this guy. It's just like, all right. They said as much as a douchebag as Colby is, he deserves the next shot at the belt.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, he fucking beat RDA, so just go ahead.
Yeah, it was either RDA or him. And
yeah.
It's not RDA now.
You can't say Usman yet, because Usman versus RDA just got announced, I believe, for...
That'll be a fun one.
232. That should be interesting. But if I'm honest, I see it going very similarly to how Colby... Actually, you know what? That's not necessarily true, because Usman hasn't that much output lately with his strikes. So you know what? We'll fucking... Unless he breaks his hands again. We'll see. That could be actually a pretty competitive fight.
True.
They discuss how Bismuth was talking about when he was coaching on The Ultimate Fighter against opposite Mayhem Miller, how the editors love to edit out other filming to create narratives, which is very true in all reality TV.
I mean, that's what that is.
Oh, and shouts out to it now being completely fucking quiet in here. Okay, sorry. So it'll be a little easier for now for the lack of background noise. Yeah, when he's talking about when he coached against Mayhem, there was a time where he was giving some advice to a fighter that had lost. And then, like, there was just a bunch of filming that they left out, and they edited it to make it look like where he talked to that fighter, and then the next day he was a complete dick and did a 180. You know, it's just, we've seen it before on Tough. We've seen, like, teasers that they cut, you know, to paint fighters in a certain light. So it's nothing surprising. Lewis thinks Jessica Andrade is a handsome woman who has the same face as Justin Bieber, and he kept telling Shannon to pull it up side by side. Not surprised coming from Lewis.
No, of course not.
Bisbing thinks Andrade fought like classic Vanderlei Silva with her brutal power. and just kind of just moving forward and just throwing those. Just what did she clip Carolina with? Was it like a fucking overhand right?
It was a giant. Yeah, it was a giant. It wasn't even an overhand. It was just like a short right hand right on the fucking button.
Yeah.
She just beasted on her. It was super impressive.
Woodley's on the phone. He had a fun interview. He basically talked about. He said, "Yeah, Bisping, I appreciate you. You're always keeping it real when you kind of talk about how fighters are feeling." Because he was like saying, "Oh, Tyron looks pretty nervous," and then Tyron's like, "Yeah, I definitely get nervous for every single fight. That's just how it goes." And if you've seen him when he's getting his name called, he looks super nervous. But it's just getting them.
Most fighters are.
Yeah.
Like GSP was notoriously ultra nervous.
Yeah, I don't say that you can't be. Some people, their confidence helps, Even someone like McGregor, there's got to be nerves, obviously. Like, yeah, the guy has his certain, swagger, demeanor, whatever you want to call it, when he brings into the octagon. But, yeah, there's no way you don't have nerves. You're fucking fighting in front of thousands of people, so it's just natural.
Yeah.
Woodley was talking about he expected Till to defend takedowns with his back against the fence, so basically it went exactly how they thought it would and how he was coached into kind of forming the fight.
Right.
He talks about how Darren Till throws his whole body into his punches, and Woodley says he was intent on outstriking Till regardless of how the fight was going to go. He wanted to show he could stand with him. And he also cites instances of early ref breakage. I don't know what kind of term you call it, but when they kind of stand him up too early. Separation. Thank you.
Yeah, because Dan Miragliotta was fucking evidently someone, I forget who. Oh, I think it was Eugene S. Robinson said if anything ever, Jesus Christ, there's more planes landing on me. If there was ever a sign of collusion from a referee between them and the promotion, those fucking separations from Miragliotta are close to it.
Yeah.
Like that shit was very fast and unwarranted.
Oh yeah, I did notice that. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I was getting real pissed.
And he talked about how it can make you lose focus, especially if you're doing all the work and it's like, wait, you're standing this guy up? Like, what the fuck? And he made the example of his fight that he had with Nate Marquardt back in Strikeforce. How he had knocked down Marquardt, he got stood up, and then from there the rest is history. Changed the whole sway of the fight, and Marquardt knocked out Woodley.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen with Till, but that could have been interesting and aggravating and infuriating in a sense if Till would have turned it around because of that. But it's happened before. They asked about who are you fighting next, and he said, I'm not even gonna answer why, but he says everyone wants to see me whoop Colby's ass. He's irritated all types of people, black, white, homosexual, and he said people who believe in Star Wars, and that had a really good laugh from Michael and from Lewis. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Eddie Bravo had limited notes on there besides his flat Earth argument. Says he's hosting a combat jiu-jitsu tournament with...
Yeah, the next EBI is full combat jiu-jitsu.
With palm strikes. Notable names that I caught that at least I wrote down. Your boy JT Money, Jesse Taylor, is going to be in that tournament.
Who's the favorite, I think.
Oh, yeah, I could see that, though. Tamden McCrory, I think it was another name.
Interesting.
I wrote down also Kyle Chambers from 10th Planet Oceanside. So shouts out to the local guys.
Yeah, shouts out to TP Oceanside.
Yeah, 16-man tournament with palm strikes. So I can't remember the date, though. Didn't write down the date.
I think it's October.
Okay.
Pretty sure it's October, and Quintet's at the end of this month.
Oh, yeah, Quintet was the other thing that they were talking about. I remember that now.
Quintet's cool.
Yeah.
It's a really fun show.
Yeah, what is it? He said it was like multiple teams of 5. It's not like 5 at a time, because that'd be insane. But I remember, I think he mentioned other coaches like Uriah Faber were going to be there.
Uriah Faber's facing off against Kazushi Sakuraba.
Oh, Faber's in the tournament. Oh, shit.
Yeah, okay. There's a Team Alpha male is competing. So it's him and a couple young dudes and some giant Asian they found.
Okay. That could be interesting.
For sure.
Nice. So, do you have any more notes on that, or do you have a can't miss?
That was that was about all I had for that. Oh, wait, one thing I forgot to mention is Bisping mentioned at the end of the episode how good he is at Street Fighter 2 with Ryu. And Bisping and Lewis are evidently going to do a Street Fighter 2 tournament between themselves.
So I hope Lewis just picks E Honda and does the palm strike spam in the corner, if you know what I'm talking about.
I'm sure it's going to be something like that. Or Bisping's going to do it. Although Bisping plays Ryu, I don't think Lewis knows how to play Street Fighter. I think Lewis knows how to mash buttons.
That's the point. Like, that's the one character, if you don't know how to play, you can beat anyone. You literally spam this stupid fucking palm strike move, which makes it impossible to jump. It's dumb.
Yeah, I think I see it mostly going as Bisping winning via fireball and uppercut, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's like people who've never played Mortal Kombat, you choose Scorpion because you could just spam teleport and the stupid spear. But that's in the fighting games, there's always waste.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, we are back in this. Sorry about that. I had to go shut up some dogs. Chris grabbed a beer. What'd you grab?
So I'm having Brooklyn Brewing. It's their brown ale. Brooklyn Brown Ale. It's solid.
Nice.
I like it. Yeah.
I believe it's Garrett Davies is the super personable dude who reminds me of Neil deGrasse Tyson that works there.
Okay. I'll have to look him at.
I think that's his name.
It says the brewery's based in. Okay, so it's in upstate. It's in Utica.
Yeah. Okay. It's fantastic. Their stuff is really good. It's hard to find out here, surprisingly, but their distribution out there is pretty wide.
Yeah, God, that reminds me too. Someone mentioned to me there's a tasting room somewhere in Brooklyn. I don't know if it's with their brewery.
Oh, you should hit that up, dude. Look for some good New England IPAs up there, because I bet you there's a bunch. So I wonder if you could even find. You probably can't find Treehouse down there, but you can probably find some really good New England IPAs, because those are pretty huge on the East Coast right now. Those like hazy fruit bombs.
Ooh, yeah. Well, you've got me intrigued. I have to do some research.
Yeah, I'd look around, look on Untappd or something, and see what you can find. Anyway, not a beer show. My can't miss for this week is the MMA Vivisection, which was really good, but kind of depressing also. Zane intros the show by saying all the Bloody Elbow video content is basically dead as far as podcasts go. They're all either moving over to SoundCloud or to podcast feeds, so they're no longer going to be on video. The only one that will still be on video, I believe, is If the Shoes Fit and If I Did It.
Okay.
But all the other stuff, 6th Round Retro, 6th Round, Vivisection, all that stuff, even MMA Depressed Us, all that stuff's going to be audio only going forward. They're also going to be cutting down the MMA Vivisection to an hour going forward. And they're going to be going top to bottom on cards. That wasn't this week, but that's going forward. So that was all kind of a bummer to hear. But they said at some point they might start doing like a longer form show. It sounds like maybe on Patreon, which I would actually really enjoy. I'd love to get them, like Connor and Zane, doing like a regular Patreon thing. I think that they would do some cool fucking content.
Yeah, I mean, any way you can kind of just like salvage some stuff like that, especially good like insider content. I think it's always
Yeah, and it's one of those things where the Bloody Elbow isn't making money off that show, and so they're kind of cutting like edges off of everything, trying to save money. But they could easily make enough to support that show.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't need a lot of people to be able to keep that show going, and they can definitely do it with the audience they have. So I hope they do that. They did mention though that Chris Reaney, the guy who does MMA Squared, those drawings for Bloody Elbow, he also he has the company Combat Wombat, which is like the clothing stuff he does. They are now sponsoring the MMA Vivisection, so that's pretty cool. So they're gonna be doing like a shirt and stuff going forward, probably.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that'll be rad. But from there, it's a great breakdown of this card, like always. They do the best breakdowns as far as I'm concerned. If not the best, top 3 probably. Definitely up there every single week. They talk about the UFC burying Tyrion Ware a little bit and just giving him horrible matchups one after another. They talk about Pat making Connor nervous about guys like Peter Yan. Just in the fact that like he's a prospect, but whether or not he can actually hang at the top of the division because he's not ultra athletic because Pat loves his muscly boys, as they said.
Yep. Who's that Serbian guy? Darko something? Remember that motherfucker with the baby eaters?
Yeah.
Probably likes that guy too.
Pat loves all, like, Yoel Romero. He loves all those motherfuckers. And then Zane had one of the funniest lines I heard all week. He said Nikita Krylov is the kind of guy who, like, back in the day, Nikita Krylov was the kind of guy who takes his gas tank, pours it on himself, and lights it on fire rather than trying to conserve it.
Yeah, that checks out. I remember some footage of that.
Fucking 100%, and just hilarious phrasing on it. So I'm not going to go into depth on all their picks and everything. If you guys want to listen to that, which I highly recommend, they are a great source of kind of comparing styles and doing breakdowns on that. I highly, highly recommend it. Even though it isn't Pat Wyman anymore, who, of course, Pat Wyman was hired by, like, a bunch of teams and stuff to analyze guys. Connor Rebush is still very high level at that, as is Evil Greg Jackson, Phil McKenzie. So, highly recommend checking it out, and it's a testament to how good that show is that it didn't drop off after Pat left. So, I really recommend supporting those dudes and following that show going forward.
Hell yeah.
Cool, man. Was there any new shows you listened to?
Unfortunately, none that I could locate. I know that reminds me that I forgot. I didn't get a notification if there's new episodes of new stuff that listed in the past. Like, I know, who's it? Dan Hooker and Adesania's thing that's kind of a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like a weird,
I always keep forgetting to check
show
back on that. I always forget
Me
to
too.
check back on Tyron Woodley's podcast, but I don't know if he does that.
That one they haven't put one out in a while.
And then same with, like, Daniel Cormier's, man. He had to put out in, like, a year.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
I know. It's a bummer. I did hear from Dean this week, though, that the Tyron Woodley show, Morning Wood show with these nuts, it's not dead. They're just both real busy, and they got shit going on, so. I did have a chance to check out a new show. However, it was from last week, but it's really fucking good. Fistic Arts, episode 7.
I like
the show
name.
hosted by. Yeah, it's real good. It's a show hosted by Jeff Wall. This episode came out on the 5th of September, and his guest is Schwan Humes. You probably know him as Black Jordan Breen on Twitter, and he is fucking fantastic. Schwan does some scouting for high-level fighters. He also shouts out guys like Patrick Wyman and Connor Rebush for being fantastic at like researching and kind of breaking down styles of guys and matchups. And they just do a deep dive on UFC 228 main card, and it's fucking awesome. The amount of research and tape study that Schwan has done, and his like well thought out reasoning for all of his opinions is really, really interesting. But he also will go on tangents like Jordan Breen, which it's just a great combo. I really, really enjoyed it. I think I even tweeted out that it was one of the best breakdowns I've heard this year of a card. It's just so fun to listen to.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just interesting points, and like I listened to this, they're breaking down 228 on this episode, and I listened to it after having seen 228, and dude was dead on about just about everything he said. He said stuff like Carla has to try to drag out the exchanges with Suarez to even hang, but Suarez is really good at getting top position, and he probably sees a late finish. He makes a great point about how Karolina Kowalkiewicz circles a lot, but then always enters in on straight lines to get into the clinch.
Oh yeah, that's like I see
she's
that.
Probably going to get clipped on that. He compared MMA judging. He said it's more like ice skating than it is like basketball or football when it comes to judging, which is a great comparison. It's just a lot of like subtle but like smart and well thought out opinions, like over and over again, and I just really enjoyed it. He also talked a lot about Valentina being very overrated and never changing her game plan opponent to opponent, whereas Nico's shown multiple different strategies in the Tough House alone. And he actually picked Montano going into that fight, so that was pretty interesting.
That is
he also
interesting.
had Woodley, of course. Just saying.
I think that brings
game to keep up.
I think that brings some good merit, especially coming from, you said he's a scout, right? So, yeah, that's big.
Yeah. He's just really smart, fun episode. The host, Jeff Wall, also does a ton of research as well, you can tell. But in comparison to Schwan Humes, everybody sounds like they're talking to John Danaher. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of that guy, and I think it's really, really interesting. I hope I hear more podcasts from him going forward, because he is a super interesting dude and very, very knowledgeable. Cool, man. Let's see. Oh, that's right. We have our new segment, which we've been doing. The co-main event inspired segment, shows for the well-rounded, or MMA podcast for the well-rounded MMA fan. Which show, do you have any podcasts you've listened to that aren't MMA related that you recommend people give a listen?
Yeah, I listened to Your Mom's House with Tom Segura and his hilarious wife, Christina Pazitsky. I did listen to this probably about 5 days ago, though, so I probably, if you mention anything, I'll probably just remember it.
I don't think I heard the recent one, but I'm guessing they talked about butts.
Yeah, a lot of butts.
I'm guessing they talked about Tom killing a waitress at Starbucks.
Oh, I think the first 30 minutes were just about how they poop. Shit like that.
Yeah. That checks out. Lots of shouts out to mommies and jeans.
Yeah, definitely. How are your jeans today? That kind of thing. Basically, how you feeling.
That show's so weird, but so funny. It's
hilarious. I always like when they talk about their tour dates, because they purposely say the names of the cities in weird ways.
Yep.
Like Tom's like, you can see me if you're in Northern California, I'll be in Ball, Sacramento, shit like that.
Yep. A lot of that. I forget. There's a couple that they say. Oh, I think it's Jew York City.
No, it's Jew Dork Titties.
Oh no, Jew Dork Titties.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. They have fun on that show.
Yeah, or they
really just goof around.
They do the stereotypical Asian accent that pronounces the L's as R's, so they said
right.
You could see me in Portland, Oregon, shit like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, because Yellow Band, their red band, is an Asian dude.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's pretty goofy. I love that show. That's a great recommendation.
And then I was gonna say real quick, the only other one I listened to was, of course, your boy Billy Freckles, Billy Blue Balls.
It's your boy,
Bill Burr's Monday Morning Podcast, or
Billy fucking Burr.
Thursday morning after Monday. No, Thursday morning just before Friday, or whatever the fuck it's. You know what I mean? His Thursday morning segment.
Yeah.
He talked about, the one thing I remember is that F is for Family. Don't know if you've seen that animated comedy on Netflix.
It's great.
It's hilarious. Season 3 will be coming out soon. I think he's going to have news about that, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
I heard nothing about it season 3, so that's great.
Yeah, that's how Netflix does shit, though.
Yeah, I mean,
they just kind of like don't announce shit until they decide, why not?
Yeah.
Cool, man. I actually have 2 well-rounded this week, mostly because I think you will really like one of them. The first well-rounded show I recommend people check out, specifically you, Chris, is Punch Drunk Sports this week, which of course is hosted by Ari Shaffir, Jason Tebow, and Sam Tripoli, a bunch of LA comedians, or at least Ari's still an LA comedian, even if he doesn't want to be known
mostly.
As that. Yeah. But it's just a really good episode, and it's all football talk.
Okay.
It's all football talk and all fantasy talk. So I figured you would dig it.
Oh yeah.
Billy Buh, your boy, calls into that as well, because it's their 300th episode.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's almost all football talk. They talk about how the Chargers are fucked because they moved to LA, which is like the worst place for them to go.
Yeah, because no one cares.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Like, dude, they could literally win the Super Bowl, and people will be like, that's cute. Yes, there'd be some bandwagoners, but they're not like, okay.
Yeah, they talked about that. They talked about all the horrible stadium that the Raiders are playing in right now.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's a baseball field.
Yeah.
Like, literally. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. And then so that I don't really have a lot to say about that. It's literally all football talk, and I don't football. But if you do, there are 3 hilarious comedians that will say horrible shit and be very funny. So I recommend that. And then speaking of podcasts that say horrible shit but are very funny, I've been listening to a lot of the Lapsed Fan podcast, which is a podcast about wrestling when it used to be better. It's basically they look at old wrestling cards and do a deep dive And when I say deep dive, these are generally 3 to 5 hour episodes on a single wrestling event. I don't like pro wrestling. I don't give a fuck about pro wrestling. I think it's basically just a dumb carny, quote unquote, sport.
I was gonna say I was gonna say real quick. Sorry to interject. My favorite thing pro wrestling has produced is the video games. Most specifically, WrestleMania 2000 for the Nintendo 64. I don't know how many fucking hours I had in local couch co-op, but that game was amazing. And it was always
that definitely gets shouted out a lot on the show because they played a ton of wrestling video games. And so they did one of the WrestleManias leading up to WrestleMania 30. I'm still like 2 hours. I'm still 2 years behind on that show because again, they're fucking 5 to 6 hour podcasts and they put out one a week. So it's a real struggle to keep up with. But they do awesome deep dives. Like they rewatched every one of the WCW Starrcade events, or as they call it, Scarblade. And they just have hilarious characters. Fucking Vince McMahon is a guy just like snorts coke off his desk and is abusive to everyone because they, or at least their version of Vince McMahon. I can't. There's just so many good bits. Fucking Austin's frame boil gimmick. It's just all so good. So they recently, or at least the one I listened to recently, they did the Over the Edge show in '99, which is the one where Owen Hart dies because they drop him from a fucking wire.
Oh my god.
You know about that?
Wait, say it again? Sorry, my brain skipped.
Owen Hart died during an event. Like, they had him on a wire, and he was supposed to, like, come down into the ring or whatever.
What year is this for rest?
99.
He fucking died?
Yeah, in the ring. Like, he fell, like, 70 feet or something and died in the ring.
That's like, yeah, it's fake as far as it's scripted. Like, everyone knows that, but those stunts are so fucked.
Well, that's the thing, is, like, and it wasn't, like, he basically, something happened, and the thing he was harnessed into released, so he dropped like 70 feet and died. It's fucked up, especially since a lot of the fans in the building started laughing and shit. Anyway, I don't want to make this all depressing.
Yeah, it just reminds me of how great of a movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke is, and that he got robbed of the Oscar.
Good. Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah,
Mickey Rourke has got robbed since Barfly, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
Yeah. Bow, wow, wow, wow. I love that movie. Anyway, yeah, Laps Fan is fucking great. It's all up in that ass. If you need that deep, hard look, and you really, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do Laps Fan bits. Go listen to the Laps Fan podcast. Even if you hate pro wrestling, which I do, you might like it even more because they shit on pro wrestling a lot.
You know what that just reminds me of? What was that? One of the fucking podcasts just mentioned that I listened to. What did they say? Like, oh, the most watched WrestleMania of all time was when Hulk Hogan fought Vince McMahon or some shit. It's like, all right, like that totally checks out too, because it's a wrestling trope.
I mean, everything's a fucking Well, I think the Steve Austin Vince feud was probably, I don't know, dude. I don't follow pro wrestling.
I just
93,000 in the Superdome.
Oh yeah. See, I always get pulled into that copy pasta that's on Reddit where someone mentioned something that happened to them in the past, and they said, and in 1998, Mankind fell off the cage from Hell in a Cell against the Undertaker. I'm like, God damn it! Like every fucking time. That's always a funny one though.
Yeah, it's, oh god, pro wrestling sucks so bad, but the people who have a sense of humor about how dumb pro wrestling is are my favorite pro wrestling people.
Hey,
so
it's all about that Booyaka 619, bro.
Obviously, dog. Rey Super Mysterio, even though he didn't wear a mask for a lot of his career.
Yeah. Oh, that's very true actually. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Anyway, is there any other shows you listen to that you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, I'll give a quick shout out to Fights Gone By. Your boy Jack Slack, always doing a good job at kind of just giving his opinion on everything. What did he say? He said 228 was surprisingly good. He
Fair.
said Michael Chiesa is going to continue pursuing to sue McGregor. All right. He talks about the current rumor of Dominic Cruz getting his rematch against TJ in December. That's a rumor right now.
That'd be interesting.
He says he would love to see it, but he says he thinks this fight is currently a slap in the face to the rest of the division because Cruz cuts the line again. I put in parentheses that that's debatable, just going on his stature and what he's meant to that division. But I don't get me wrong, like I see where he's coming from, of course. Like Marias and or Asensio should get that shot. And that reminds me too, I saw a piece of news media coming from the mouth of Henry Cejudo, or excuse me, my new nickname for him, courtesy of Loaded Joe's, Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy Neutron says that his fight, super fight as he called it, against TJ Dillashaw is going to be announced soon. So that is terrible news because I do not want to see that fight. So hopefully he's lying.
TJ hinted that he thinks that's next for him too on the JRE episode this week.
So I imagine if that happens, is that at flyweight?
Yep.
It's at oh, okay, then I'm not mad. Okay.
TJ says he moved down.
Never mind.
Because he doesn't want Henry to have excuses.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
And he thinks he and
if
Henry
it's
are
at
not that
flyweight,
different.
I'm not mad. So that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 25.
You know what? I'm actually kind of intrigued by that now because I want to see what happens to TJ.
I think TJ fucks him
up.
I think TJ out-wrestles him. How about that?
Yeah. I want to see that now. See, I was infuriated at first because my mind was like, oh, God, this asshole's cutting the line at 135. You know what I mean? Because 135 is much more competitive than 125. So it's like, what the fuck would this guy get to cut, the line? But no, if it's at 125, I'm all in. Fuck it, dude. Why not? Mighty Mouse is still hurt, or he wants time off, I think. I don't know what's going on.
He's injured.
Yeah, do it. Let's fucking go. That'd be fun. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, man. Would be for sure.
Let's do it. Yeah, then TJ will be champ.
Yeah. TJ says he's looking to be champ, maybe.
I mean, the only way I see that...
45ers are real big.
So, I can see that if Holloway's gone. I don't see him beating Holloway.
And if Ortega's gone?
Yeah. So, good luck. And guess who you still have to...
If somow John Lineker wins the belt at 45?
And guess who you still have to deal with at 145 when those two guys are gone?
Zabit?
Him and also Renato Moicano.
That's fun. Yeah.
So
they're all huge motherfuckers, by the way. So yeah, it should be interesting. Let's see some other shows I wanted to shout out. MMA Junkie Radio 2757 was good. Josh Barnett was in studio talking coaching in quintet. Sakuraba was in studio with the translator talking quintet. And then Faber comes on to announce that him and Sakuraba are going to be the first round of those fights. And then later in the episode, Tom Vaughn, Nico's coach, calls in to talk about the weight cut and her being stripped.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me, on MMA Hour, I skipped her interview because I've heard all I wanted to hear from her. Don't get me wrong, I think she's a nice person. She carries herself well in interviews, but based on just from what I heard how she prepared, I just don't want to hear that kind of shit. I don't know. I'm just kind of...
Yeah, I'm also equally as done with hearing from fucking Valentina Shevchenko.
Her as well.
Going full Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, she's like,
I
told you so many times that she would not want to fight me.
Amanda does not want to fight me. I'm also going to have a completely similar game plan against Amanda in the rematch and completely lose.
The judges do not see the way I should have fought. They robbed me of a decision win I should have had. It's just like, all right.
She is terrified.
Yeah, now she sounds like GSP.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kidding.
I don't do a good not Portuguese.
She's like,
where's she from?
She's from like Kyrgyzstan, but like she also...
You're right, Kyrgyzstan, but now she's in Portugal?
Or she's based out of Peru.
I knew it was one of those P countries.
Yeah, it's a Latin country.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that was a decent episode. Slip and Dip with Dean Thomas and Chase Sherman was good this week. Dean Thomas calls in to talk about Tyron beating Darren Till. One of the judges fucking up the scoring of Carlo versus Suarez. They do talk about how Tyron at one point rushed the guillotine in the Wonderboy fight, and that helped him in this one to actually get that choke because he didn't rush it. He kind of just took his time with it. He did also mention that they're aiming to fight again in the next 3 months, but he thinks Tyron may or may not have hurt his hand. They're still trying to wait and see what the result on that is, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, lots of interesting scenarios. Some of them that we're expecting, at that, especially the weight class for the next title, for the title picture. But either way, we'll get into it in probably like 2 weeks or whatever. But yeah, 229 is going to be a very important card as well.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. It'll
be interesting for sure.
And that card will probably have the most podcast coverage as far as consistency.
Fuck yeah.
And
we're probably going to hear about that for 2 weeks rather than hearing about the card
obviously
next
we're not
weekend.
kidding ourselves to say we're not excited, so clearly we're fucking excited.
I'm going to be a lot more excited after weigh-in.
Well, let's see, you beat me to the punch. I'll say we're excited in the sense that if it happens, we're cautious. We're cautiously optimistic.
100% we're recording that show on a Thursday, not on a Friday, not on a fucking Thursday. Our curse is still alive. One of the co-main dropped out on the last card we did.
Oh, that's fucking right, dude. So, God damn it. I forgot about that because I had to leave for New York. And you're like, hey, dude, we're recording. It's, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, we had our curse. Yeah. So whenever we record on Thursdays, shit goes super haywire. Luckily, the weigh-ins already happened for tomorrow's card, and a couple people blew weight, but fights are still happening because Russia.
Yeah, Russians don't give a fuck.
No, and I think it was the Russians who
clearly,
or at least one of them.
Because, by the way, don't know if you noticed, during the World Cup in Russia, you can see former Argentinian icon, legendary soccer player, Diego Maradona was doing lines of cocaine, clearly, on social media, inside the Olympic Stadium, whatever it was in Russia, because they said, you can do cocaine in Russia, we do not care. I'm like, all right.
Hey, there's snow everywhere. No one will know.
Yeah. So that was actually a real thing in Russia. If you want to bring some nose beers with you, knock yourself out. Or no, you know what? Get hyped. Hype yourself up. Excuse me. Wake the fuck up. Have fun.
Nose beers will probably help some people on this card.
Yeah.
So congrats on that. Then lastly, the only other thing on Slip and Dip was Chase Sherman called in to talk about his upcoming Brazil fight and training at Jackson's and all that. I think that's pretty much all I had. Oh, Eugene S. Robinson is actually playing the Soda Bar in El Cajon on Saturday.
No way.
Or on Sunday, rather.
That's fucking, dude. You gotta go to that if you can.
I wanted to, but I don't think I can pull it off because it's going to be Sunday night, and I don't want to feel like death on Monday.
Limit your drinking.
We'll
see, as difficult as that can be at Soda Bar,
Yeah, that's the thing, is I've never even showed up to Soda Bar sober, much less left sober. But yeah, I may have to do that. We'll see. I know if you hit him up and you answer some questions so that he knows you're legit, then he normally offers to bring you backstage and shit. But I don't know. We'll see. He also mentioned he asked the question this week whether Dana White or Don King is the worst promoter.
It's
like that's a decent question.
It's not bad.
Probably Don King's better promoter, worst person. I don't know if Dana White's stomping out anybody.
Yeah, no.
To death. Yeah. But he also fired Mad PD shots at Andrade, too.
Yep.
Which...
Shouts out to that fucking bird in the background. Sorry, you probably can't hear it.
Not as bad as these fucking yappy-ass dogs or these planes. So, anyway, we're going to take a break. I'm going to grab a beer, and then we will be back to talk about UFC Fight Night Moscow, Hunt versus Oleinik, which, oh boy, there's some no names on this card that are going to be bodying motherfuckers.
Yep.
Should be interesting. So we'll be right back, and until then, listen to this clip of Carter Rebush breaking down what he believes this event will look like.
From Olympijski Stadium in Moscow, Russia, the UFC's first foray into the terrifying frozen east that is the Russian Empire. The main event, Mark Hunt, Alexey Oleinik. The only question that's worth asking, Phil, can you choke a cube?
This is the question we have been struggling with.
We don't know how to answer it. I mean, probably not seems to be the right answer, I guess, now that I think of it. We couldn't think of many examples of extremely blocky fighters being submitted.
All right, everyone, we're back.
Yeah,
for
we
the
are.
card preview for this weekend, which is in Moscow, Russia. Or
That's
the
right,
joke
that's why
I was
there's-
going to say is
Oh,
in
go ahead.
Mule, Russia.
Hey,
You know, because they're just called mules there.
that's right. Also, you can tell where it's the card's in Moscow, Russia, because of all the fucking huskies barking in the background. I'm gonna try and edit them as much of that as I can out. But let's just say the huskies aren't big and they're real yappy.
Yeah, they're miniature huskies.
That's right. And by miniature huskies, I mean shit little rap chihuahuas who have no fucking manners.
So there's that. We got going on is we have a... So let's just go ahead and see right off the bat. This card is full of Russian fighters.
Oh, yeah.
Russian caucuses, I guess you can
Right.
call it.
Yeah, there's a Russian fighter on
formerly-
every fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter Yan is Russian. Yeah, there's a Russian fighter. Oh, no, Nikita Krylov and Jan Blachowicz is the only one. Oh, actually,
To be
and
fair,
and
he's
actually,
Ukrainian.
and the first two.
Kidding. That's a bad joke. But
Yeah. You said there's like, I think 9 of 12 have a Russian in it.
yeah, every card features a Russian or a former Soviet Union. Yeah, I'm not gonna go there. I don't want to piss
No,
any people.
we all know how terrible my geography is. I'm not sure what state is to the right of California.
Yeah. So just by getting into, do you want to just start from the bottom? And go ahead and just get this rolling.
Absolutely. Let's kick it
So-
off with your boy, or with
So-
Matt Serra's boy.
Matt Serra's boy. This guy is from the Republic of Georgia, not the
Fucking
state.
Rob.
Not the state of Georgia, as some of you might be confused with. Don't get confused by the totally American name of Merab Davilshvili. I said that totally wrong.
Dvalishvili, you were real close.
Davilshvili. Merab is a Georgian fighter from the Republic of Georgia. He's 27, has a professional fight record of 7 wins, 4 losses. Last time we saw him, actually, let's see. See, I'm doing it's weird on my phone. He's going up against, American fighter Tyrion Ware. God damn. Oh, his nickname is Flash. Dude, he should have just gone with Maul, as in like Maul like a bear, because that also is like malware, like for your computer. You know what I mean? Or is that just too on the nose?
That is a terrible joke, but I am 100% on board.
But you know what I mean? It should have just been MAUL. Fuck it.
There
Tyrion
you go.
Malware. I don't know.
For sure.
That would have been a terrible nickname, but whatever. Better than Tyrion.
Pause right there. So, hold on. I remember 2 things. First off, we haven't done any claps. And second off,
good point.
there's a dog barking super bad, so let me shut this dog up and then we'll do a clap on this one, and I can manual sync the other one.
Sounds good.
So give me a second. All right, sorry about that.
It's all good.
Fucking dogs. All right, you ready for a 3, 2, 1 clap, and then we'll just resume like we were going?
Yep.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Cool, you're like half second behind me. All right, feel free to continue on with your Merab Dvalishvili and malware jokes.
Here we go. Yeah, Tyrion Ware, or as my shitty joke, malware, as in Maul as a bear, or just malware because it's bad for computer. Better than Tyrion Tupperware. So he is Flash.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, he could have done that too. Pro record is 17-7. 32-year-old is on a current 3-fight skid. Unfortunately, this is the bantamweight division too. So, I mean, it's anything like basically from 135 to 170 is just murder's row.
Yeah.
In general, mostly 135 to 155, so just lightweight in general.
Well, really, I think 145 to 170 is even more of a murderer's row than 35.
Yeah.
35 has a couple dudes at the top, and then there's like a decent drop off after that.
Yeah, true. It's kind of more like it's the middle of the pack that you need to clear out to get those top
Right.
guys. When in lightweight and 45, they're all they're kind of like all interchangeable in top 5, arguably. So.
Lightweight and 45 is fucking crazy right now.
So last time we saw Merab Dvalishvili, he had a loss. He got guillotine choked, finished by Ricky Simone.
Kind of.
This is the fight. So
Yeah,
he
with
got
the leg
choked
kicking.
out. Pretty sure he went out, and then his body was reacting to after being out.
Seemed that way, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's like
Still
the
kinda
closest
don't
call
know.
ever.
Like
that
he might
and
have
the
actually legally died too. There's a
Yeah.
possibility that he probably died.
That and the Matt Hughes Carlos Newton is like maybe the two closest calls in MMA history. Where you're like, I don't know, man. I guess
So,
Matt Hughes won
what
because
I'm-
he sat up first. I don't
What
know.
I'm thinking is Merab died, and then his body remembered, wait, you're from Georgia, so let's reanimate because you're a badass motherfucker and wake up. They're like, okay, I'm not dead anymore. You know what I mean? And then wakes up and then gets the call. He's done. So there's that
Yet
possibility.
did.
Yeah. Are you dead? Niet. Before that, he had a split decision loss to Frankie Science. Tyrion Ware, last time we saw him.
He has had one of the roughest runs in the UFC of all
Yeah.
time. That's a fucking
His
murderous
UFC
row.
debut was to Cody Stamen, where he lost unanimously. Then he lost unanimously to upstart prospect Sean O'Malley.
How do you give him Sean O'Malley after losing to Cody Stamen? Like,
I don't.
and then Tom Duquesnoy after Sean O'Malley.
So
Like,
clearly
good
the UFC
Lord.
does not like Tyrion Ware. He must have pissed
Evidently
someone
not,
off.
because Merab is in the same category of dudes as those three, if not better than a lot of those guys.
Yeah, I'll just say this. I'm leaning Merab on this one.
100%.
Yeah, I gotta go with Merab based on the camp he's out of with Ricardo Almeida and Mark Henry. I can't ignore that.
Merab's out of Sarah BJJ.
Or is he Sarah?
Yeah, he's Longo Weidman.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, yeah. Okay, see how easy it is to get those two camps confused?
Merab! Well, yeah, they cross-train a lot, too.
Okay. Yeah, Sarah
yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu, you're absolutely right. So, yeah, either way, I expect this to end with a submission.
Yeah? You think so?
Yeah, I can't remember Ware being really too savvy on his back.
He's definitely more of a striker than a grappler, for sure.
I just see that just going there. He's just kind of Merab's gonna just use like his bread and butter, kind of what he's known for, and I think that's kind of where he just gets that fight done. Holy shit! How many fucking tabs do I have on my phone? Don't ever do this on your phone. Oh my god, dude! I have like 5 tabs for Merab Dvalishvili. Jesus
That's
Christ!
hilarious.
Like trying to back out. But yeah, what do you think?
I think in this one I got Merab by decision. I could see him getting a sub or a TKO, because I think he definitely just is going to outwork Tyrion Ware to a point where Tyrion Ware is going to have trouble mixing up. Like, I think Merab's going to mix up the takedowns and the grappling exchange, or like the takedowns and the punches in with grappling exchanges to a point where Tyrion Ware will gas. It's just a matter of when he gasses. I think it probably won't be till late. I think Merab probably takes it either 2 out of 3 rounds or all 3 rounds in a unanimous decision. I just think he's going to be able to outwork him, both on the feet and on the ground, but especially in the scrambles.
Yeah, those are all good points.
Cool.
Next up we have.
Oh wait, I forgot. Odds on
yeah,
that
what are
one.
the odds?
Oh, good
call.
God! According to 5 Dimes, who is always the people I go to because they generally have the best odds for the consumer. Five Dimes has Merab Dvalishvili at a minus 500 to a plus 435. Terrian Ware. That is a big gap.
That's, yeah. Big
Also,
gap.
shouts out to Merab being on my fantasy team this week. I have a couple guys on my fantasy team that I'm very
Thank you for the reminder.
hyped about.
Since I've been so busy having fun in New York for not setting up a flex, so I'm probably going to have...
I got a couple guys.
We'll see who I
When
can
we get
take.
to them on the card, I will tell you who you should go with because I got it up.
Thank you.
Because I've grabbed a lot of dudes. I think like I said, I have 4 people on
You've
this
grabbed
card.
a lot of dudes lately?
Yeah, dog. I've just been grabbing dudes like a motherfucker.
Fuck yeah.
But Khalid is a decent pickup, or Jordan Johnson I think is a decent pickup. Jordan
Okay.
Johnson's kind of a scary one, and probably going to decision. The dude who's fighting CB Dalloway is probably a smart one, but he's a little bit untested.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I didn't know CB Dalloway was still in the UFC or still fighting.
Well, so he's had 3 opponents on this. This is his 3rd opponent for this card.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting. We'll get there. Anyway.
Yeah, for sure. So
Ramazan.
next up we have a fight. I can't tell if it's a middleweight or welterweight. I can't remember what it said on there when it
It is welterweight.
So welterweight bout between Serbian fighter Stefan Sekulic.
Sure. I'm
Going
gonna let
up
you
against-
struggle on that one.
Going up against a fighter from Azerbaijan. Yeah, I know I've heard of this country before. I just can't never say it. Azerbaijani fighter. There we go. Ramazan Imiev.
It's Azerbaijan. They're a big mustard creator.
Oh, Azerbaijan. That's right. Azerbaijani fighter Ramazan Imiev or Imiev.
I think it's Emiev.
Emiev. Ramazan Emiev from Azerbaijan is going up against a Serbian guy.
Get used to a lot of that on this card because oh
Stefan
boy,
Sekulic.
there's
Holy
some
fuck.
there's some
It's like-
fucking names.
It's like,
and
do you want me to
pronunciation.
just pronounce it in the stereotypical Russian accent the whole time? Are you going to...
Gorets
Yeah.
Verstefan.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool nickname. Gorets, don't know what it means, but it sounds cool.
You can find out what it means by looking up the article on MMA Junkie that Ben Folks did about all the crazy nicknames on this card.
And there you go. There you have it, folks. There it is. So the Serbian guy, Stefan Sekulic, has a professional record of 12 wins, 2 losses. Last time we saw him. Oh, so this is actually his UFC debut. Before that, he was in a
lot of debuts on this
promotion
card.
with a fantastic name, Serbian Battle Championship.
I'm pretty sure I saw that in the movie Serbian Film.
And I'm pretty sure I saw him fight Niko Bellic back in Grand Theft Auto 4. So.
100%. Those are both 2 great references that people should know, but shouldn't know.
So,
The worst GTA game and the worst movie.
you didn't like GTA 4?
It's okay.
Okay, it was sick
I like
because
the,
of
I like
the
idea.
jumping graphics. The jumping graphics
Yeah,
was
it played like
it's
garbage.
the biggest. Yeah. But it was the biggest jump you'll ever see. You know what I mean? That was
Yeah.
like from those generations. So.
The shooting was garbage and the
No,
plot
it was
was
terrible.
questionable, but
Yeah.
other than that, the driving was the best though.
No, the driving is the legit best driving in any GTA
So
game
dope.
because they actually had the coding for like a simulator. I can't remember. I think it was Forza or something like that.
No, it was something more tech. It was like a Grid or like one of those like high end like weird
Grid
super
makes
sim.
sense.
Yeah, because you would immediately I would peel out like everything every time I was going sideways everywhere I went.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Anyways, last time the Serbian dude fought another Serbian, Givago Francisco. Actually, that doesn't sound really Serbian at all. What am I talking about? Before that, he fought Ivica Trusek. So he has 2 wins in a row by guillotine choke. Looking at his other past victories, he has some other guillotine chokes. Looks like he has some knockout power. So this guy seems pretty well rounded. He could submit you. So he can submit you and he can knock you out. Let's look at our boy from Azerbaijan, Ramazan Emiev. He has a professional record of 17-3. This guy, this is his 3rd UFC fight. His last 2 fights in the UFC, he's won both of them. The first one he won, both of them he won unanimous decisions. First one to Alberto Mina, back in just this past May, and before that
not
he
too long
won
ago.
his debut against Sam Alvey last October. So already almost
Yeah,
a
that
year
was
ago.
that. Yeah, that was the fight where he grinded out Sam Alvey by just sticking him with the jab and putting him in the clinch against the cage, which was exactly how you should fight Sam Alvey.
I was going to say, that sounds like a Sam Alvey fight.
Yeah, it's 100% how you should fight him. And I love Sam Alvey. Met the dude multiple times. Very nice guy. 100% put him against the cage in the clinch.
So, this is interesting because the Azerbaijani fighter, Ramazan, he has the 2 UFC fights under his belt. Yes, the Serbian guy can choke people the fuck out and knock them out. So, I'm going to go with experience here, and I'm going to pick Ramazan Emiev via decision. I feel like he's going to be one of those fighters who just kind of grinds out a decision. Because he has some chokes and knockouts as well. I feel like it's just be like 2 similar styles that clash. I got to pick the guy who's the veteran. Excuse me, so that it's kind of by default I go to decision.
Yep, I 100% agree. I think he takes it by decision. I think it's pretty clear. Ramazan definitely has the better wrestling, and I think he's just going to stick him against the cage or put him on his back, and Stefan's going to gas over time, and it's just going to be... That's how that shit's going to go. Let's see, odds on that one.
Oh, yeah, odds. Thank you. You're going to keep saving me each time.
Yep. So, dude, like I said, these fights are... This is why I have 4 people on this card. These odds are crazy on a lot of these. Ramazan Emiev is a minus 560 to a plus 475 Stefan Sekulic. So, yeah, there's a lot of lopsided fights. I think Ramazan should take this by every definition. Unless he gets clipped with something crazy in an exchange, I think he pretty clearly takes it on decision.
So,
this next one's... Yeah, this one's one of the more interesting fights on the card as far as... This is going to either be a dude who is an Ilir Latifi-style weird beast, or he is going to just get housed by Jordan Johnson.
I was going to say, this matchup looks like the battle between Mr. Baby Eater himself, looking all natty, and Adam Yendiev.
Super natty.
His nickname just being Beard, which is great.
By the way, yeah, great nickname. I fucks with that nickname.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Like, what is nickname? Beard. Huh? Beard. And I'm like, okay. And that's it. So the Beard Man is going up against American Jordan Johnson. Jordan Johnson has a record of 9-0. He's undefeated. Look at that. He has 3 fights in the UFC, which includes an Ultimate Fighter 25 finale from July 7th of last year. But yeah, he's undefeated. That's all we got to say about that. Mr.
And not
Beard,
to sway your opinion, he also has an All-American tattoo.
Well, then that's actually fucking a huge factor. That's a very big factor. That shows a lot about how he fights.
Yeah.
So let's look at the Beard Man, Adam Yendiev. This is his UFC debut. However, this man is also undefeated at 9-0. So someone's O has got to go, unless they decide to be a bunch of assholes and call it a draw. But we're not there yet.
So here, there's 2 things that I think factor into this. Number 1, Jordan Johnson being an All-American wrestler, or having a tattoo of an All-American wrestler, but he sure looks like one when he fights. And number 2, go ahead and tell me the last time Adam Yendiev fought.
Oh, excuse me with my Owen Wilson. Wow. Looks like fucking 2015.
Oh,
wow. 2015, Adam, they call him the Beard, and wow, but he hasn't fought since 2015. So,
wow.
That's huge.
Yeah, 3 years.
That's really, I can only imagine that he clearly took a 3-year vacation because he was tired of training, and maintaining all those big, strong traps and muscles he has, right? Every guy who's tired of training goes on a 3-year vacation for no reason at all.
Well, who knows when also, coming from M1, they're very strictly tested over M1, where they have night fights, where people in armor bludgeon each other with shields.
Oh, dude, see, I'm still subscribed to that channel on YouTube. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, it's so fucking cool in the weirdest way.
Yeah. It's not like regular fun.
I feel
it's
like
weird
that's
fun.
just CTE simulator, but like with a multiplier. Like you're
Yeah,
like,
it's European CTE
I like getting hit in
simulator.
the head with gloves regularly. Let me get hit in the head with my head inside a fucking giant piece of metal that's gonna rattle against my skull.
Right, and they can use metal to hit
and they
you
can
with.
use weapons to fucking
Yeah.
hit. God, that's just. But then again, dude, that actually just shows you how dangerous American football is too, because your head's getting tossed around. Yeah, that's a whole.
I mean, for sure. But the actual M1 fights are fairly legit. The actual M1 cards, like those, that's like a separate series of weird cards they do.
Yeah. So this is I don't know where to lean except for I know that the American guy he knows how to wrestle, and this other guy took a vacation, so I'm gonna go with the American guy, Jordan Johnson. I don't really know else how to really fucking predict this fight.
How you think he takes it?
I think he wrestle fuck decisions him, because the other guy looks like a big boy. So
I agree. Adam, with as many subs as Adam has on his record, even though I think a lot of them are strongman subs, I'm definitely going with Johnson via decision. Otherwise, I'd probably go sub or TKO, but I think Yandiev is probably gonna be tough enough to hang in a bit. Let's see odds on that one. Yandiev is a plus 230 underdog to a minus 250 Jordan Johnson. Seems about right to me.
So,
actually, all of these odds have pretty much added up so far for me.
Yeah, and I know you're telling me some of these are gonna have a lot.
Jordan
of
Johnson. Jordan Johnson is available in fantasy also, as a heads up.
I might have to do that
on
for my
our
flex.
league. Yeah,
We'll see.
I would say him or Khalid are your two guys that, or you have Jan Blachowicz in the co-main if you want to go for some fucking underdog points.
Speaking of fellow Polish fighter, whatever you want to call him, don't call him a
That's
Polak. You got a
The fucking Polacks. Oh,
you Polak fuck. I think I've actually heard that already here. And shouts out to my friend Kevin, the good homie Kevin, just texted me that we just got Yankees tickets for tomorrow night. So I am fucking stoked.
Hey, nice. That's what's up, dude.
I'm be hearing a lot. You
Congrats.
can't hit shit outside, cocksucker. Be hearing
That's
that a
right,
lot.
cocksucker.
So
It could be Joey Diaz everywhere you look.
yeah, pretty much, and yeah, it's gonna be great. Last time I was at a Yankees game here was at Old Yankee Stadium 10 years ago, and it's funny. And they played my beloved Padres and beat the Padres, so that was fun. So,
Interesting.
anyways, we're not giving a fuck about baseball right now. Next up is fellow Polish fighter Marcin Prokhnio, who's going up against, you guessed it, a Russian, Magomed Ankalaev.
That's right.
Ankalaev. I don't know how to say his name. So the Polish guy, Marcin Prokhnio, has a professional record of 13-3. He is 6'2", 30 years old. It's a light heavyweight bout, if I remember correctly. I just took a little glance.
It is.
Marcin Prokhnio lost his last fight against Sam Alvey. He actually lost via, was it knockout or TKO? It says punch.
I believe he got bodied by him. It was, if I remember right, he blitzed, like,
I was going to say,
kept
did he
trying to
walk
feint
into it?
on the inside. Yeah, he literally walked right into a left hand from Sam Alvey.
From Sam Salvi. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was this past February.
At least I think it was a left. I'm pretty sure it was like a short left hook that caught him right as he was stepping in.
Before that, that was his UFC debut. So before that, he competed in one FC or one championship. Excuse me, one is not a football club.
Well,
one championship
they used to be.
in as WSA China. He defeated Gilberto Galvão via KO TKO. Yeah, so he's experienced in one. He's in the UFC now. That's all that matters. He lost to Sam Alvey. It's all good. He can redeem himself against the Russian Magomed Ankalaev, who's 10-1, 6'2" as well. These guys are big boys.
Hell yeah, a lot of big boys on this card.
Last time this man fought, he lost to Paul Craig, the Bear Jew, the Scotsman, via triangle choke.
After beating the shit out of him for literally 14 and a half minutes.
It was one of those where like, holy fuck, this dude just came back. But good on
It was
him.
it was literally the definition of a Hail Mary sub.
Oh yeah, he submitted him. It says here with 1 second.
The very
to go
last second,
of-
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta watch this.
And
again.
he
That
lost
sounds
every
sick.
part of that fight.
I gotta watch that again. I'll do that after we're done with the podcast. That sounds entertaining.
Yeah, Paul Craig, that was like one of the biggest comebacks. They compared it to Darren, not Crookshank. It's not Darren. It's Damage Elkins. Darren Elkins
Against Mirsad Bektic.
Yeah, that's how they compared it. It was like, dude, it was just the most just gritty last second comeback moves ever.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. So he lost in a fight that he was winning to Paul Craig. Before that, that was his UFC debut as well, actually. So these guys are both in their second UFC fight.
Yep.
Before that, he was in an organization called Win.
What? WFCA?
Oh, WFC. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
You read Win because it was how he
isn't that
won.
funny how I was doing the top line? I was like, wait, but it says he'd win all his fights. That makes no sense.
And before that, unfortunately, he was in a show called Akhmat Fight Show. You know what Akhmat is, Chris?
Unfortunately, I do.
Yeah, shouts to the Russian, or not Russian, Dagestani, or not Dagestani,
by
Chechen
default, since
dictator.
I'm a very subjective person when it comes to picking, I am going to pick Marcin Prokhnio, the Polish guy, based on that I don't want to support someone who's associated with Akhmat, even though it's probably going to come up again. But objectively, I would pick Magomed. However, my official pick's going to be the Polish guy, Prokhnio. I'm just saying it right.
By what?
Prokhnio is gonna win by kneeing him really fucking hard. He's gonna clip him when Magomed changes levels.
That is a brave pick.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get it wrong subjectively.
Yeah.
Objectively, I would definitely pick Magomed, but I don't want to support someone who supports a person who does not think gay people exist. That is not cool. Yeah. Agreed.
Although I am sowing my soul to the homophobic devil, and I picked up Magomed in fantasy. So
that's a very, I'll say, smart pickup as far as fantasy goes. I'll leave it at that.
I'm going to go ahead and blame this on Valentina Shevchenko for the reason why I'm an anti-Semite bigot who hates gay people.
Yeah.
Also, I'm none of those things, but I am supporting people associated with those people. I'm
fantasy, man.
I have to go Magomed. I'm going probably KO, probably first or second. I'm gonna go Ankalaev with KO via, I don't know, just being able to. Prokhnio, I don't have any faith in after he got KO'd by Alvey the way he did. Because Alvey hit him with the same punch like 3 different times and he just kept walking straight into it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Magomed KO first. It'd probably going to be more like second, but I'm going to go first.
So, what are the odds, by the way?
Oh boy, not going to help you. Ankalaev is a minus 400 favorite to a minus 355 Prokhnio.
Fuck yeah. Definitely not good odds.
Yeah. I have a lot of people on this card for this exact reason.
So this next fight, you guessed it, another Russian by the name of Marbek Taisimov.
Yeah, Marbek.
Is going up against Desmond Green, or who now goes as Des Green. And it's also
that's right.
Brought to you by the movie that came out that the UFC keeps pimping out, The Predator, because that's his nickname, which came out today. And it's supposed to suck ass. So.
Yeah, it's also brought to you by Russian Treats, because Marbek Taisimov weighed in at 161 for a lightweight fight.
Fun. Enjoy the purse penalty for you in your favor, Desmond Green. I imagine, and I keep getting... Excuse me, I just got interrupted by a spam caller from Jersey City, New Jersey. Go fuck yourself back to Hoboken.
Hey, shouts out to the hookers. Oh, yeah. Hey, oh, hey, oh.
Yeah, you slimy Guido fucks. Stop calling me.
Hey, you don't know. It could be some pizza owner trying to get in touch with you that happens to train or happens to have a venue where...
This is how scammers work. When I was back in San Diego, if I'm not on vacation now... it would be just calls from just like fucking Northern California, you know what I mean? And now it's like, well, we found you, motherfucker. You're in New York City, so we're just gonna be scummy and just call you from Jersey.
Joycey.
So yeah, that's happening. That's the thing. Hopefully they don't interrupt me again. I apologize for
That's
that
right.
awkward pause.
Ray Longo, calm down. Oh wait, no, he's Long Island. Mark Henry, calm down.
Yeah, you just insulted Longo. So yeah,
Longo could have gone to Jersey. He could have a Jersey number. It's plausible. Not likely, but plausible.
So Taisimov, last time we saw him, he won via punch. Just says punch. To
Sure did.
Felipe Silva.
He sure murdered
wow,
a man.
That was a year ago. Okay.
Yeah, he fucking murdered Felipe Silva.
He murdered him.
Felipe Silva rushed in on him and he hit him with a counter right. He just hit him with a step off counter right down the pipe, and Felipe Silva just face planted against the fence.
So he's on a nice UFC fight.
Shouts to Paps.
Shouts out to Paps. He's on God, I can't even talk. He's on a 5-fight winning streak. Jesus Christ, 5 and 5. Can't even say fucking independently from each other.
Yeah, a lot of breaks between fights though.
Yeah, it says the last time he fought was about a year ago. Desmond Green, on the other hand,
He's coming off a car accident where 2 people died.
oh shit, that was him, huh?
Yeah.
Man. Like, he got hit and people died, or, I mean, I don't know.
I believe he hit a truck and the truck hit people and the people died.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a comment on that at all, only because I don't really know anything about.
I just felt like I had to bring it up.
Yeah, no, it's important, but yeah, I
it's
can't
depressing.
Really...
I wish I hadn't, to be honest.
Anyways,
although he did fight Gleison Tebow in his last fight, which is arguably equally depressing.
Yeah, he beat Gleison Tebow. You can say he T-boned him too soon. See what I mean? See, guys, you feed this shit to me, and I just turn it into me becoming more and more of a piece of shit as we go on. So that's just the kind of that's just kind of thank you, Chris. That's kind of the shit we run here. If you don't believe me, go listen to our Triple X commentary where me and Chris's girlfriend Karen.
Oh man, Ice Cube is never gonna be able to play a show in this town again.
Yeah, but yeah, Desmond Green won via manslaughter via the judges last fight. Before that,
he actually didn't do that well.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. The last 2 losses, the judges clipped him in the walkway. They didn't see him, and he got clipped. He was on his bicycle, and he got clipped 2 different times by an oncoming traffic. So his last 2 losses, unanimously. He had an impressive.
Does have a win over Josh Emmett though.
Yeah, that's a big dub
Split,
right there. But... He won that in court. It was close. You know what I mean? It was split. He argued that he hit the guy and he didn't get whiplash, but he won it. It was close. So
yeah, he's able to win the jury over.
So sorry. Enough with those shit fucking jokes. Let's go on to Taisimov. We already mentioned the whole rap sheet here. I'm going with my boy Taisimov. I don't give a fuck who's been gone for you. This dude's a killer. His grappling is so fucking good.
Yep.
And he's just got the power. You know what I mean?
How do you have him taking it?
You know what? Desmond Green, when was the last time he was finished though? Because this guy's tough as shit, man.
He's a lot of decisions.
Yeah,
last
I'm
time
sticking
he was
decision.
Finished
Taisimov
was Daniel Weichel in Bellator
Taisimov
in 2014.
Decision. Desmond Green, he's a very tough son of a bitch. This guy's tough as they come. And granted, he survived a car crash, so it shows his toughness and his durability. So, you know what? I'm going with Taisimov via decision. I couldn't even keep a straight face on that because I'm an asshole.
I know. I'm going to have Taisimov by KO.
KO, I like it. I like that call.
I think it's probably gonna be second. I'm gonna go second. Taisimov just been murdering motherfuckers, and Desmond Green is hittable. He moves with he slips with punches well, but he still eats them, and I think over time he's gonna gas pretty hard.
Is that pun intended?
Or if he.
He's gonna gas pretty hard.
Oh, I see what you did.
Or does he break pretty hard?
He's gonna gas.
Clearly, he doesn't break since he hit someone.
Oh man,
Sorry.
He's gonna gas. Taisimov is gonna hit the gas.
I lied to you guys. He's gonna cut his brake lines.
Yeah, no. There's gonna be a third body on on Desmond Green's name, and it's gonna be himself after this fight.
All right, seriously,
let's
we're
keep
done.
moving
Yeah.
on.
Let's move
Yeah,
on.
that
So
was
what are the odds on that fight, by the way?
Oh, I don't know. The odds are we're going to hell, I think, is the odds on that fight.
Oh, clearly.
Tysonov is a minus 475 to a plus 420. Desmond Green. Oh, I see what you did there 5 times. Oh, Green is 421.
And that's why he crashed, because he probably got a DWI. He was too high. Just kidding. I
That,
told you I was
that
done.
might actually be too. That's
probably very
too
real.
close to home.
Okay.
Yeah. He also was on a suspended license at the time. If that makes it better, which it
Yikes.
doesn't.
Anyways, no more jokes. That was it. Had to get out of our
Oh,
system.
also I have. Oh no, wait. Never mind. Naraknu has Tysonov over Green, which is going to be a problem for us in fantasy because Naraknu fucking kills us every time. Or kills me.
So excuse me, I'm like burping because of this beer diet I'm on, because that's all I've
That's
had
right.
for
Shouts to. Are you still drinking the brown?
Oh yeah.
There's got to be a better way to phrase that.
Yeah. Dude, I'm still hitting the brown still, man. No.
Oh, that Brooklyn Brown, bro.
Yeah. No, I'm actually drinking the Brooklyn Lager right now, and it's very solid.
Oh shit.
It's good on an empty stomach. I recommend it anytime you haven't had anything nutritious in your system. Just down 2 beers first thing when you wake up.
That sounds like a good way to go about it. I am 2 tall cans of Black House down, and I'm on a Pabst before I start this Loma Land from Modern Times that I'm about to crack open.
Being all fancy with the Modern Times. So, we have
The Modern Times variety pack, by the way, sorry to cut in, so good.
Did you get it from Costco? Because that's really good.
Nah, dog, I'm like 2 blocks from a Bevmo.
Oh, then there you go.
It's the best. Even though everything's warm, it's still the best.
So, this next fight we have is a lightweight bout between K-John. I'm just going to call him K-John. K-John Johnson versus another Russian, you guessed it. Rustam Khabilov, excuse me.
Khabilov.
Shouts out to K-John's photo on Technology. That's
That
something.
dude has the opposite of looking photo as Marab, where
It's
there
like-
was a photo posted of Marab where he looks like a bobblehead this week.
It's like Tech 9 meets Look at My Fist to show you that I'm a fighter.
Oh, dude, you nailed it! It totally looks like Tech 9.
Yeah.
It's like Tech 9 meets Uriah Faber.
Yes. Tech Faber. That's his new nickname. We got it. Yep. So from now on, Cajun Johnson, whatever you mention him ever, it's Tech Faber. That's my nickname.
Based on the matchmaking he's been getting recently, I'm not sure we're gonna mention him a lot.
Yeah, that's actually a really fair point.
They fucking hate Cajun Johnson because of the labor union stuff with Leslie Smith. By the way, shouts to fucking Project Spearhead. They're doing the goddamn Lord's work. There's a reason why we picked Leslie Smith as our... Shh, don't tell anybody. As our artwork way before she was ever running that shit, is because she's a bad motherfucker who will play her own game.
Oh, yeah.
And same with Kajan.
So, Tech Faber, last time he fought was this past summer. He lost to Islam Makhachev, another fellow Russian, via armbar at the end of the first round. Before that, he had a split decision victory over Stevie Ray Vaughan at UFC Fight Night 127 in March. For that, he beat Adriano Martins. I think it's his name was. Rustam Khabilov, record of 22-3. This badass motherfucker he's from Dagestan, right?
Oh, by the way, we're gonna have to call. Yes, he is.
He's from Makhachala.
Oh, okay. Sure, yeah, that super random, totally not made up place.
That's what I'm saying. Makhachala. Yeah, Makhachala.
But by the way, his name's not Cajun. What were you calling him?
I was calling him Tech Faber.
Oh, yeah, it's not Tech Faber. It's Tech 819, which is the area code for Quebec.
There you go. Tech 819. That's perfect.
Yeah. So Tech 819.
So...
oh, that's right. I forgot Rustam was out of Jackson's.
Rustam Khabilov, who's from Makhachala, Russia, which is basically next to Dagestan, if I remember it, because Zabit is from Makakala as well, if I remember Russian.
Interesting.
I believe Zabit is from Makakala as well. Last week we saw Rustam Khabilov. He defeated Desmond Green via unanimous decision because Desmond Green cannot die. His durability is insane, clearly. I don't think he's ever been finished, actually. Don't quote me on that, though. I don't know. Jason
Which makes my pick crazy, but...
Yeah, Jason sucks. So he's had 5 victories in a row, all of them decision. That's his style. He grinds you out. He keeps you on the ground. He makes you want to quit. If you don't quit, that's on you. You're not a quitter. Good for you. That's how I see this fight going as well. Actually, I lied. I see... Wait, how many submissions does Khabilov have? No. Early. Oh, that was a long time ago. Yeah, and I got a decision for my boy Khabilov.
You going decision?
Yeah.
This is another fight that I have in fantasy. I definitely have Rustam Khabilov. I think Rustam Khabilov finishes via TKO in the 3rd. I think it could be 2nd, but I think he finishes on the ground. If he doesn't, he definitely wins an ultra-dominant decision. I just think he's way too much for Kajan Johnson. I like Kajan a lot. I'm a big fan of his podcast, Raging MMA, or whatever they renamed it to. But, yeah, man, bad matchup. And the UFC knows what they're doing, and it's really, really upsetting. So I am fading him in the same way I was fading Leslie Smith despite loving Leslie Smith. Actually, that's not true. I had Leslie Smith over Aspen Ladd, but that's because they don't know how to matchmake the women's division. Anyway, let's keep moving on.
Oh yeah, what are the odds on that?
Thank you. So Kajan is a plus 575 underdog to a minus 710 Rustam Khabilov.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So
speaking of lopsided matchmaking,
I was gonna say this doesn't look promising for Korea's Jinsu Sun,
who is a super late replacement.
He has a record of 9-2. He's a bantamweight. This is his UFC debut. That's all I'm gonna say. Impressive record. I wish you the best of luck, sir. That's all I can say because Russian Peter Yan has no mercy. 9 wins, 1 loss. We saw what he did in his last fight. He pretty much killed Teruto Ishihara. That was bad.
Yeah, he murdered him with hooks against the cage. It was pretty impressive.
And he's also beat someone named Magomed Magomedov, which is like
who I believe is fighting for Pro Fighters League now.
Pizza Fun League?
No, ACB. Sorry, I knew it was one of those. Yeah, Pizza Fun League. I miss Pizza Fun League. I'm excited for the return for the next round.
So yeah, I'm going with Peter Yan via Murder Fist. Is my pick.
Yeah, 100%. Me too. What round?
Round 1. I know I was laughing, but no, I'm sticking with it. Round 1.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with all of that. I think you're super correct. What the fuck just happened to this spreadsheet?
Peter Yan by a Murder Fist.
Yeah, I've got Peter Yan as well. KO first round, pretty clearly. It's a really late replacement. It's a bad matchup. Jinsu Sun does have finishes, but he leaves his chin way up in the air when he throws, and makes me nervous. And Peter Yan is good at capitalizing on shit like that. So, it should be noted Peter Yan did miss weight by a pound, but I still have him first round KO, even more so actually after missing weight. The odds on that one, Peter Yan is a minus 825 favorite to a plus 650 underdog Jinsu Sun.
Wow.
That's a tough fucking debut, son.
Yeah.
Get it?
Oh yeah.
Get it?
Heard. I get it.
His name's Sun.
Oh, I know.
No, but did you get it?
I think I missed it. Can you repeat it for a 4th time?
Yeah, his name's Sun.
Got it, Dad. Got it, Dad.
All right. Well, speaking of dad, CB Dalloway is fighting Khalid Mursaliev.
Yeah, CB the Doberman Dalloway, a Clarence Byron Dalloway, is going up against
CB Elevator Dalloway.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ, going up against the Russian Khalid Mursaliev. So he's gonna murta fucking CB Dalloway. This is where I'm going with this. He's gonna murder him. CB Dalloway, last time we saw him, he's a veteran. 17.
He's coming off a win.
Hector Juicy Lombard.
Do you remember how that went?
No, I don't at all.
Hector Lombard murdered him with 2 giant hooks at the end of the round, and then CB Dalloway was so fucked up and there were late punches that he won the fight.
Yeah.
And then he has the win over Ed Herman in July of last year.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
He's facing Khalid.
So yeah, he's facing the murderer himself, Khalid Mursaliev.
The murder. I'd never caught that, but that's hilarious.
I don't know, murder. Yeah, Khalid. This is his UFC debut.
Really? Oh yeah. He's coming out of Fight Nights Global.
Yeah.
Shouts out to the Spider
looks
Ladies.
Like he has a fuckload of wins by just these hands.
Yeah. Round one.
All of these are by these hands. So I think Khalid is going to murder Zaleev, fucking Clarence. I think it's gonna be like a middle round, like round 2. I don't know. CB. I don't know.
You think second?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Khalid first, just because I have no faith in CB Dalloway's chin at this point.
Yeah.
But I got Diego Sanchez fight wrong last week, so who knows?
He fucking won. That's kind of insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. That's the police going to investigate that. One thing to note, though. Yeah, 100%. One thing to note also, Chris, for our fantasy league, Khalid's still available.
Yeah, there's a lot of juicy options for me via my friends from Russia.
I would say that's probably your best pickup if you're really confident in it. Or if you want like a pretty safe one, Jordan Johnson is pretty safe, but Khalid is more likely to finish, and it might actually be safer, to be honest. It's just one of those things where like...
Speaking of safe, what are the odds on this?
So, Mursaliev, Khalid Murta is minus 160 to a plus 150 CB the Elevator Dalloway.
Okay.
Checks out. It's about how I'd expect the odds to be. I have a little bit less faith in CB Dalloway than the odds makers do, but he didn't look awful in the last fight until he got killed at the very end of the round, so I kind of see it.
Okay. By the way, if you were to choose in a fight between a Wolverine and a pit bull, who would you choose? Because that's this next fight.
Well,
we got
one has adamantium claws.
No. I'm talking about the animal. I know that'd be cheating if you chose the Marvel character. So, have you ever seen a Wolverine?
Wolverines. It depends on the. It depends on but it depends on the location.
Yes.
This is like this ain't some Street Fighter shit where every stage is the same.
No, I know. If it's in the forest, the Wolverine wins. Probably almost.
Or snow.
I'll just say this.
Or
Wolverines
hill.
in general don't give up. And yes, they have very tough, like loose skin, kind of like a badger.
No, I know Wolverines don't give up. I've seen Red Dawn.
Oh yeah, shouts out.
Wolverine.
Shouts out to the original movie with Patrick Swayze.
Don't cry.
Yeah. Instead of this shitty remake that never happened. But yeah, no. So
Ronda Rousey was supposed to start with that, right?
No. I think it was like Chris Hemsworth or some shit.
I was super excited.
Yeah. That's mile 22, which I only know that because they had advertisements in New York at the beginning of the day.
Oh, I meant Roadhouse.
Oh yeah. This shitty
mile 22 also.
The movie that everyone wants to see with Marky Mark and Ronda Rousey. Never mind. Don't see it. So this fight is between Russian, aka Alexey Wolverine Kunchenko. It's going up against as many Brazilian pit bulls as there are, Thiago Alves. Pitbull.
That's right.
Say welter.
There's actually 2 pit bulls on this card.
Of course there are.
Shouts out to the OG who fights later.
Exactly. Thiago Alves is 22-12. That reminds me, what was that quote by Kevin Lee? Michael Johnson's fought 30 fights.
I thought you were going to say how tastes his pee-pee.
What did he say? Remember that? Kevin Lee's Michael Johnson's fought 30 fights. Motherfucker ain't won half of them yet. Or some shit like that. Yeah.
Checks out.
Which is true. God, I'm losing my train of thought. So Thiago Alves, last time we saw him, he got knocked the fuck out by Curtis Millender in his debut, who is a highly touted prospect. And I had the pleasure of seeing at 226, and he won, I believe, when I saw him at 226. Fuck, who did he beat? Jakar Close?
Millender?
Jakar Close, I think it's who
I think
that was
you're
Landon
right. Max Griffin.
That was a close fight, though. Max Griffin brought a very good fight, but Millender edged it out. I think is how it went. Anyways, that's a different fighter. Thiago Alves lost to him. Before that, he won unanimously against Patrick Cote. He lost the unanimous decision to Jim Miller, but that was in 2016. You see where this is going. Was Alves suspended? Fuck, I don't even know now.
I don't remember him.
Anyways,
suspended.
Alexey Kunchenko, 18-0, looking very dapper in his photo with his belt. Like he wants to murder the world.
It's like an old school Nikita Krylov almost style.
He is
picture.
an M1 veteran. So M1, when you mentioned that medieval knight shit,
Ton of
is
wins
that
in M1,
M1 or
wow.
is this the non-medieval shit?
That is M1, but it's like a
Because I'll just say this:
M1 also
if
has
any
very
of these
legit.
Fights where he's wearing armor, I think that just shows his
No.
I'm not even lying.
No. He doesn't. No, M1 has like regular fights all the time, like regular MMA fights, and then they do like weird
like
shit
he's
sometimes.
like, I am undefeated inside the ring. I am number one knight. I am number one ward.
No.
I am number one Templar.
No, those are like specifically. Yeah, no, those are like specifically weird events they hold in like Scotland on grassy hills and shit like that.
I am number one jouster.
Yeah. No, it's he's legit just bodying motherfuckers.
Yeah, this dude. He's a lot of finishes. Mostly just on defeat or decision. I don't really know how to score. I don't know.
Yeah, having not seen a ton of Kunchenko's fights, it's hard to put.
I'm going with the Wolverine in this fight because it's in Russia, and I think this goes the distance. And they're like, we want the Wolverine. And they're like, all right.
Yep. So. You going decision then? Yeah, I'm going Russian via decision because it's in Russia, and I think it's going to decision. So I think that's probably the way to go about it. Speaking of Russians, Andrei Arlovsky is not being credited as one going into this fight, despite his mom being Russian.
He's Belarusian.
Well, that too, but also his mom is just straight Russian. But he's also fighting a dude who is just from Russia. So
Andrei, the OG Pitbull Arlovsky, former UFC heavyweight champion, is going up against Russian fighter Shamil Abdurakhimov.
Shit, I forgot real quick before you start.
What are the odds in the last fight, right?
Yeah. Kunchenko is a minus 475 favorite to a plus 420 Thiago.
That deserves a wow.
Oh, wow.
So there we have it. Shamil Abdurakhimov has a professional record of 18 wins, 4 losses in this heavyweight bout. Last time we saw him, he defeated Chase Sherman via punches about almost a year ago. Wow. Before that, he got ground and pounded out by the Black Beast. So this guy only fights about once a year. Andrei Arlovsky lost a decision to Tai Tuivasa. I can't remember how I scored that. I remember it was close, though.
Yeah, it was very close. I could see it going either way. I had Tai, but then again, I'm a big Tai homer, so that's
before that he defeated Stefan Struve, who is basically a stepping stone, and then also defeated Junior Albino. Before that,
more like a stepping stool at this point.
Yes. Just call him Stefan Stool.
Oh boy, that joke was good.
Yeah.
I really did not see that one coming.
Before that, he was in Murder's Row. Basically, he fought not necessarily Marcin Tybura. I mean, he has good grappling, but he got knocked the fuck out by Francis Ngannou. Got choked up by Josh Barnett. I think he was on roids at the time, but still. Got knocked the fuck out by Alistair Overeem and got knocked the fuck out by Steve. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He was on a rough skid before he went on this recent run.
But before that, he had an impressive winning streak. Yeah, I mean...
Andre's had a weird career.
I'm kind of leaning Andre.
I could see it. He's definitely the
this
more
motherfucker, he's fights
accomplished
like once a year.
True.
So yeah, I got Andre decision again. You know what I mean? Most of my picks are gonna be decision, and I know heavy.
I think that's smart for a lot of these fights, but is Andre going to take the decision in Russia against a Russian?
Probably not. He's probably put it on the line.
I think he might, because Andre he's a big enough name that it's possible. I'm going Shamil.
Shamil, how do you think you got this one?
Yeah.
Decision Russia?
I think he clips him early. I think he's going to pressure him and clip him and like drag Andre into a brawl.
Okay, I can see that.
And I think if it turns into a brawl, I don't think Andre ends up on the right side of that. It's possible he does. He's always got heavy hands. He's always a gamer, and he's weird and tricky. He's like a super vet. He's very tricky, but at this point in his career and the way Shamil was able to put Chase Sherman out, I think it's gonna be kind of tough for Shamil or for Andre to be able to. It's either Andre by decision or Shamil by early knockout, but I just have trouble trusting Andre's chin if he gets dragged into a brawl, which I think will happen, especially since he's been angry all week long.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Do we see the odds or no?
Absolutely. The odds are Shamil is a -125 to a +115 Andre, which that's exactly how I see it.
Okay.
I could even see that flopped and I wouldn't be incredibly upset about it.
Yeah, no, you can't be mad at that. Next up we have the co-main event of the evening. We have the Ukraine's Nikita Krylov, the minor, going up against Poland's
That's right. AKA Nikki
Jan
Thrills.
Blachowicz, or as we like to call him, BJ Blazkowicz of Wolfenstein.
That's right.
Last time...
Or as Connor Rebush likes to call him, Jan of Rivera. Or is it Rivera? Riviera? What's the fucking Witcher? What's the Witcher
Geralt
town?
Of Riviera. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Jan of Riviera because he looks like Geralt, like a motherfucker, or like an NPC in that shit.
I can see that. He looks like a town guy who's like big and like beefy.
Yeah, 100%. He owns a shop. He owns a shop in The Witcher 3 for sure.
Yeah. By the way, the guy who plays Superman, or excuse me, not anymore. Just got announced he's done. Henry Cavill is playing Geralt in the Witcher Netflix series. Apparently, that dude is a super nerd and loves video games and shit. So good for him. And you know what?
I mean, the Witcher series is fucking great. So
DC's whole cinematic universe is kind of a dumpster fire. So that's smart. Yeah, good move actually.
Well, plus the Witcher books are fucking great.
And he said that too. Like he literally said, "I have read all the books and played all the games. Like I want this role." And they're like, "Oh, well, you're Superman, so fuck it." You know what I mean? Like the role's yours.
Yeah. I've listened to audiobooks of a couple of the Witcher books, and they're fucking awesome. They're really good.
Anyways, that's not what matters right now. What matters, we got to dive into Nikita Krylov versus BJ Blazkowicz. Nikita Krylov.
Yep, Nicky Thrills.
Last time we saw him, or maybe we didn't see him.
I did. He killed Maba Babo.
He sure did.
And he killed the big homie Manny Newton.
Yep, he killed him too, and he also killed Maro Perok in the Ukraine regional scene. Yep.
That sounds like a super legit promotion.
The last time we saw Nikita in the UFC, he got choked out by Misha Serkinov.
That was a weird loss.
December of 2016. Jan Blachowicz, last time we saw him, he won a decision over Jimmy Manure, Sacktown Zone.
Where he dropped Jimmy super bad in the first round of that fight too.
That's true.
Like almost finished him with he hit him with like a 3 or 4 punch combo and then dropped him and almost finished him. Like was looking at the ref pounding him out and just didn't get the finish.
I forgot who's Jimmy Manuel fighting next. He was supposed to fight Glover and then someone else is filming it. Someone else in knockout.
Jimmy Manua. It's Israel, right?
No. That's a weight class down.
Thiago Santos.
Okay. That could be interesting both ways.
Yeah. I confuse Jimmy Manoa and Derek Lewis sometimes. Hashtag racist.
Because Derek Lewis sounds like he's from Sacramento.
I was gonna say, they both sound like they're from Sacramento, bro. One love,
one gate, bro. One gate. Yeah, Jan Blachowicz, he has an impressive little 3-fight win streak right now going on, and I kind of like that in this fight. I know Krylov is still, I think he's still kind of youngish, 26. Yeah, he's still young as fuck, still a young prospect.
Super young.
This is kind of tough to pick because we haven't seen Krylov in about two years. Blachowicz we've seen. I think I'm leaning Blachowicz in that I know
I've seen that pick a lot, and I don't think it's a bad one.
he's submitted people before. I don't think he's at a level like a Serkinov, but then again, I can't remember the ramifications of that Serkinov fight, and that was 2 years ago, so it doesn't really matter at this point. I don't know. What's the height? 6'3" for Krylov? 6'2", yeah. Krylov has youth on his side.
Definitely. Youth and kicks, basically. But Jan Blachowicz has been getting really good at working his jab and working counters in the last couple fights. I think the last time he got killed by somebody recently.
Blachowicz is like a decision artist. I think this goes through to the decision too. And I think this time I'm actually going to pick... you know what? I'm actually going to go Krylov decision. I feel like it's gonna be one of those fights that just kind of creeps up on you and he just kind of says, I'm back. You know?
Wow. That's not what I expected.
Yeah, I wanted to do Blachowicz, but I don't know. It's kind of just a gut call. I kind of feel like Krylov's going to be pressured to kind of put up a really good fight. Granted, this is his UFC return. And say he does beat Blachowicz in style or say he does finish him, that puts him on the fucking map.
Well, great segue. I think Nicky Thrills is about to be on the map. I have him by KO in the first via head kick.
I like it. I like the call.
He's really good at backing dudes up against the cage and then just unloading weird, crazy shit at them. Whether it's the fucking knockout of Ed Herman or the Mabo Babo fight, he's just very good at backing dudes up and making them hesitate. I think Blachowicz, unless he can start working his jab and stay on the outside and really frustrate Nicky until he gasses him out late, I think he's going to get housed, honestly. Because Nikita Krylov, I feel like only left because he was able to make more money at Fight Nights Global. Fight Nights Global then went bankrupt, and I think Nikita Krylov is back to take his fucking seat at the top of that division.
We can see it. What did the odds makers say?
Odds makers have this very close. Nikita Krylov is a -125 to a +115 Jan Blachowicz. And also, you should probably grab Jan Blachowicz right now in fantasy if you really like him, because he's still available.
Okay.
And that's the co-main. So that's like, if you want to flex on a dude that you're fairly confident in, that's not a bad one.
Because Krylov's already taken, right?
Yeah, for sure. And like, that's like, I would say if you want just like a straight points grab on, if you think this is going to decision, Blachowicz is not a bad pick because you'll get decent points even if he loses the decision.
Like that.
Yeah. Well, plus co-main, so you'll probably get an extra 4 or whatever.
Right.
You know, even if it's a flex. So, but if you want like a finish, I would say take Khalid. If you want a safe decision, I would say take Jordan Johnson.
Okay.
So those are my thoughts on Magwar for the league we're in.
So,
which, by the way, you guys, is super fun. go check out magwar.com. It's super fun. magwar.com.
So that brings us to the main event of the evening. We have two veterans, two wise and old and scrappy veterans. Whatever you want to call wily veterans.
How the fuck... Alexey, it feels like their record should be backwards.
Yeah, I feel like Mark Hunt, you're right. I feel like he fights all the time, and Oleinik, I don't know.
To be fair, Mark Hunt has a lot of kickboxing fights that aren't on that record.
Yeah.
So
Mark, the Super Samoan Hunt, Mark Hunt, what do you want to call him? Last time we saw him, he lost a decision. He got wrestle-fucked by Curtis Blades back in February. Before that, he defeated Derek Lewis.
Made Derek Lewis go boo-boo.
Yep. Before that, he got knocked out by Alex.
No, wait, that was a different fight, right?
That was a different fight. Alexey Oleinik, this old motherfucker as well. Last time we saw him, Ezekiel choked from bottom against Junior Albino. Before that, he also lost to Curtis Blades. Before that, he
got
beat
mollywopped.
Curtis Brown. I'll just say this.
Via
you mentioned it before.
neck crank.
He's not putting a neck crank on Mark Hunt because Mark Hunt doesn't have a neck. He's too big.
Oh, even less so, he's definitely not putting in Ezekiel on Mark Hunt because his arms aren't fucking big enough. Or long enough, rather. You can't Ezekiel Mark Hunt. It's not possible.
He's going to buy him a plane ticket straight to the Shadow Realm. That's how I got this going.
Agreed. What round?
I think round one.
Me too. That's why I picked him up in fantasy.
Wait, like you picked him up, you're able to contract him, or are you going to flex him?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm contracting the fuck out of Hunt. He was one of the people I drafted because of this fight.
Excuse me, then there you go. There you have it, folks. We both have Mark Hunt via murder fist in the first round. What are the odds? And if I may guess, please, I'm going to guess
go ahead.
minus 600 for Hunt.
Only minus 150 to a plus 140.
Wow.
So if y'all want to make some money this weekend on what I feel to... Oh, wait, let me see something. Let me see the prop bets for this. Fight doesn't start round 2 is minus 185. Hunt by KO is minus 125. This is starting to get real good. What's Hunt inside the distance is minus 1. Take Hunt inside the distance at minus 125. It's the same as Hunt by KO. And, I mean, that is the same thing, essentially. But, man, that feels like free money.
Yeah.
Although the last time I said that, DJ lost a fucking terrible decision to Cejudo, so take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, well, that was interesting.
Overall, I'm pretty excited about this card, mostly because it's on Fight Pass and not on a network, which means the pacing is going to be fucking great.
Yeah, God bless Fight Pass.
Fight Pass pacing is the GOAT, right? Yeah. It makes cards... It's the reason why Invicta is so fucking good is because it's just constant fights. So you don't have to sit around waiting for terrible... Like, worst case, you see a UFC 229 or 230 promo or whatever. You know?
Exactly.
So, should be fun, man. Do you have anything fun planned for the rest of the day in New York?
Yeah, so I'm probably going to go to some arcade bars. And...
There's a couple good ones I heard.
I'm going to hit up the comic book store, the giant comic book store tonight, since I'm going to the Yankees game tomorrow, which would be fucking sick. CC Sabathia's pitching, so I'm stoked, man.
Who are they playing,
Blue Jays.
you know?
So the Blue Jays aren't really that good this year, but it's a division rivalry.
It's kind of better, though, right?
What I'm bummed is that the day I leave on Tuesdays when the Red Sox are in town, so it's like, fuck.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, you'll still at least get to see a little bit of Boston crazy in the building.
Yeah. So, I'll see some New York crazies, you know what I mean? Or any of those Jersey motherfuckers that kind of want to make the trip over, you know, come east.
Yeah, exactly. Cool, man. Well, everybody go follow Chris on... Are you posting on Twitter or anything? No,
just Instagram. Yeah, I'm fucking lit.
What's your Instagram for people who want to hit you up?
It's literally just my name, all lowercase, Chris Madaffer. So...
1D, 2Fs?
Yep, so Madaffer.
So if y'all want to see some dope shit of Chris wandering around New York, going to fucking Coney Island and shit, I recommend checking that shit out, because I've been enjoying it all week long. As always, you guys can follow us on Twitter, TSOV Pod. We've been posting up a bunch this week, especially shows that we've been listening to during the week. So if you're looking for insight as we're like before we record as to what to listen to, that's a good place to look. The other great place to look is check out our YouTube channel. I know I'm behind again on uploading videos to it. I will do that this weekend, I promise. But in the meantime, we are still adding all of the playlists together. So we always have a playlist running for that week for, like, say this one's episode 88 podcast recommendations playlist, where any of the shows I listen to during the week, where I'm adding them to that playlist so that you guys have kind of a preview as to what I'm listening to and what I'm enjoying. So check that out. We are The Sound of Violence on YouTube. If you just search The Sound of Violence Podcast. You can always send us an email, chris@thesoundofviolence.com or sovpod@gmail.com. And yeah, go join up on the MMA Community Monsters Pick'em League. It's always fun. Even if you jump in late in the season, it's still fun because you're assigned to a team this year. So if you sign up and you start giving picks, they'll assign you to one of the captains of the teams will pick you, and then your team can still win even if you're not the highest for this season. So it's been fun. I highly recommend checking it out. You basically just pick a fighter, or you pick every one of the fights on a card, and then you pick the method for every one of them, and you get points accordingly. Super fun, and I enjoy it. So check all that out. And Chris, anything else you wanted to shout out?
Not at the moment, but I will see you guys. Trying to think next. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, sometime next week probably. Yeah. We'll probably skip the recap and do a breakdown / recap or something.
Yeah,
this week.
when I'll be back in town, so it'll work.
Cool, man. Well, everybody, until then, go have fun. Go enjoy the early morning card. I highly recommend, well, I'm on the West Coast, so I would recommend a breakfast burrito and some stout, but do what you do in your local region. If y'all want some biscuits and gravy and a white beer, I'm not going to be mad at you. So go do what you do, and until next time, everybody, go do something decadent. Yeah. Leave.